Hey, special thanks to Alex Marvez from the Sun Sentinel. Appreciate you being on today.
Thanks for having me here, Neil God.
Can't wait for Neil.
Can't wait, baby.
You don't want to get ripped after this show?
No, he can rip anyway. But hey, what can I say? Can't wait to hear it. I'm glad he's back 5 days a week now. It's awesome.
It's kind of now, it's an honor to be ripped by Neil. You know, that's what it's all about. So we're back Monday morning, be talking about the Dolphins win against Buffalo. You know that's going to happen.
31-10. That's what my prediction is. So go ahead, call your bookies now.
And you're not even a fan, are you? I mean, you're not even a Dolphin. You're the middle of the road guy.
Middle of the road. That's what I get paid my $4 an hour to do.
And you earn every cent of that.
Oh, no question about that.
Yeah, they got you grinded. So bumpy to the game. Toast, great job today. Creeper, thanks for all the love. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to get some rest. Get ready for Neil coming up next. Have a great weekend. Go Dolphins. Go Canes. And thanks for listening.
The views expressed on the previous programs are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not reflect the views of the group, its staff, advertisers, or agencies.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Sports Radio 560 WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Friday, you bastard.
Welcome back to the Dolphins Station 790 WQAM. We're broadcasting live from the Superdome in New Orleans, where the sun is shining down through 6-foot holes in the roof.
No way, dude. It's like waxy, man. WXY.
Well, thanks for that little dog.
Sure. Smells like wet dogs in here, man.
Dolphins are down by...
Here, let me look, man. I know I wrote it down here somewhere. Sure.
While you're looking for that, I'll love the audience with a dulcet tone of my smooth delivery. Ho-ho, somebody threw the ball really far. Ho-ho, what a game. Look at that baby go. Oh, is that a touchdown?
I don't know. Touch this, man.
Ho-ho, look at that fellow wading through the water with an 8-pack of Cottonelle. Hope that toilet paper don't get wet. Ho-ho-ho. You know, Cottonelle is a good quality brand. No wonder he's trying to save. It's very expensive. We'll be back with more action-packed Dolphin football on 790 after this station identification.
WFUN, South Miami, Florida.
WFUN 79. Oh! Another hour of music
Oh, I guarantee you one thing right now. If you gave me 790, and I could change the call letters back to WFUN, I'm sure somebody's already grabbed those up a long time ago. But if they didn't, change it back to FUN and just start playing the hits again. I mean, oldie moldies.
What great call letters.
And certainly do big numbers and much bigger numbers, gigantic numbers more than they're doing now, which would be like even a 2-share. You realize in the last trend they never came close to a 2-share all day across the street?
No,
and they're talking, they're talking like out of their ass. Hey, Joel, I hate to break the news to you, but we got like 90% of your ex-staff over here. I know you got 4 or 5 of our losers over there, although we do like Joe Rose.
Right.
And Zach. Zach's okay. We like Zach. He's fat, but we like him. Anybody else?
Boog.
Well, we like the Boogster. The only problem is he's in the wrong... I don't want to get into that with Josh again, you know. Should have taken a job with the Mets, Boog. I mean, you're not a talk guy. You're like, you're a sports puker. Hey, everybody, like that, you know. I said that when he was on our station, so it doesn't make any difference where he is. Excellent play-by-play guy. Do what you do best, Boogster. Stop trying to be an underling to that goofball in the afternoon, that little bastard. That's his life now. He's an underling to Danny Boy. He's got him under his wing. Anyway, our poll from yesterday, before we get Barry Jackass today, just started like a whole thing, didn't he? Even though Barry's got his head way up their ass over there across the street, they have this incestuous relationship, and they actually do have a working relationship. They're like partners in crime.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right? Oh, speaking of partners, I wonder how, what's-her-name is doing with that story about...
I'm having deja vu.
Dog.
And I can't believe this is happening again.
Dog the bounty hunter and his wife.
That this really good man, this hero, went and did this for those 3 young women who've been violated so badly. But he will stand up for what he did, Rita, and if he did something wrong, then he will face the consequences.
That's right, Rita.
How surprised are you that the U.S.
my God.
I mean, a lot of people are wondering, here's the Mexican government issuing this. How surprised are you at the U.S. government? Are you angry at the U.S. government for following through on their request?
Oh, boy, she is the best request. Is she great? That'll be a good format. I'll read it all day, and I bet you can still get bigger numbers than they got across the street. I mean, they can't come close to a 2-share in men. Give me a break, will you? 18-plus men at their highest share is in the afternoon. Le Bastard, 1-6, and we got 2-7. And that was before. That's the last trend. That's before we had Mad Dog and the Humper in there together. Anyway, 1,531 votes on yesterday's poll. Something or someone I don't want to hear any more about. Or we should have put Stu Gotts in there. That would have been good. Hey, Stu, how about that Aronde Gadsden, man? He's big in the meat business now. Anyway, Paris Hilton, they don't want to hear no more about her, and I can't blame you. 404. The so-called War on Terror, 187. The war on, how about the War on Freedom? Ours.
Right.
That's going really well. Tom Cruise, 172.
You fairy.
George W. Bush, 166. Oh, it just wears us out. Baby Suri, 139. Well, here's the pictures. Here's Baby Suri. Look at that. Looks like a baby. Wonder who the daddy was. John Mark Carr, 134. 9/11, 100. They got 9/11 out, I guess, last Monday and Tuesday this past. And, enough already. Barry Bonds, 51. Nice ass, Barry. Mo Howard David, 39. See, as the numbers decrease, that means they want to hear Mo about each one of these. See? I hate this poll, only 2.2%, 35 out of over 1,500 votes yesterday. So they loved it. Israel, 35, 2.2. So George needs to do a lot more Israel bashing.
Huh? Not me.
Ann Coulter, 33. They can't get enough of that bitch. That slut. Nancy Grace, 13. Nice. Now, did we put that on our website, the Porky Nose picture of Nancy Grace?
No, with your approval, we will do it right away. Well,
let's get it on there now. That's a beautiful thing. Don't get porky about it now, Nancy. Friend. Nancy Grace, 13. Brad Pitt, 12. And Iraq, only 11. So they want to hear a lot more about Iraq, and they will, momentarily. And a lot more about Brad Pitt. I don't know what else to tell you about Brad Pitt. I've had it. No interest. Maybe 20 years ago. Here's a fax from Kevin. Thanks, Kevin. Says Keith Olbermann is repeating his commentary on 9/11 tonight. You should not miss this. It was better than the one he did on Rumsfeld. Well, I'm going to record it. In fact, during the break, remind me before we do the break, go in the other room and set it up for the PVR in there, okay? So record just in case I forget to turn it on or I'm not around. So tonight they're repeating it on Countdown with Keith Olbermann, MSNBC, 8 to 9 p.m., okay? And then he's got a pool. Thanks for the pool ideas, by the way. We need help with our pool. Believe you me, there ain't anybody I know don't need help with their pool. Now, Barry Jackass this morning, I go to the Herald website there because I read very religiously because I know he's extremely objective and he's the real sports analyst. He knows his sports talk. Sports media. I think I probably ought to do the break.
Okay.
Well, no, because I don't want to interrupt this. This is heavy-duty stuff. I might only do like 3-4 hours on this. And by the way, thanks, whatever her name was. What's her name again?
Allison?
Allison. Now, what did she used to be across the street? See, we got all the people from over there across the street. So you can make all the wild statements you want about Joe Bell did this and Joe Bell did that. And we're starting rumors and I'm starting rumors. The fact of the matter is that loose lips sink ships, Joe. All the rumors, all the story coming from your people inside your building across the street. That's where it's all coming from. So you can make up all kinds of stories about Joe Bell did this and Neil Rogers did that and Frankie Pentangeli. The fact of the matter is that the cancer is inside your building. It's a tumor. It's a gigantic tumor. Remember tumor?
Yes, I do.
With the
honey.
honey?
See him no more.
Get the honey tumor. So anyway, we'll do this thing because it's a whole article about WQM and 790. The headline says WQM and 790 bosses trade barbs. Ooh. Remember L Barb, driven by Tom Merriman at Hazel Park.
Who?
And then we got this press release. I'm going to go into that, give them some publicity on a station that's got a real audience like this show, Aronde Gadsden. Might even play that bit about Chris and Aronde.
Where were we?
That Mo and Geldy bit, Chris and Aronde? I don't think so. And then we got, of course, the dog story. That's probably your favorite.
I just heard about it this morning, as a matter of fact.
What? Dog the Bounty Hunter?
Yeah.
For what he did, Rita, and if he did something wrong, then he will face the consequences.
How surprised are you that the U.S. government? I mean,
how surprised, how shocked you are that she could be on the air. I mean, there are so many. That's an excellent poll. We've done that before, but a long time ago. Somebody who doesn't belong on the air, but who is.
Okay.
We've never done it that way. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Now, we can take the crow off of there because I don't think he's back on the air anywhere after he bitched out poor what's-her-name in accounting. Lenny Martez, is Lenny ever on the air again? Do we have him still on the air?
I haven't seen him on the schedule for a while.
No.
I don't know what the policy is.
So there's some of the people who would have been on that poll and probably have been in the past, but they won't be back because they're not on the air. I think Lenny Martez and the Crow would be a hell of a 1-2 punch for across the street. Right after the Troy Stratton. No, that's somebody else we like over there. Troy, we forgot about him. We like him. He's a good guy.
Well, he's a
He's probably stabbing us in the back right now. But that's okay, Troy. Do whatever you got to do, baby. We like you a lot. Good man. Right?
Right.
Scoran said he was okay. She said he was no Roy, but, you know. Who the hell could measure up to that?
Roy!
793 votes on the poll. We haven't even gotten to that yet, and then we got the whole thing, Barry Jackass. I might spend most of the show on that today. By the way, the monitor is turned off on the phone thing there. Well, no, I'm just telling that. So if you want to waste your time trying to call in on this show when I'm doing it, you can go ahead. Give a little finger exercise, which is better than burying it in your rectum or somebody else's. But look at that, 803 on the poll, man. We got more people voting on our crappy poll now than they have listening across the street. That's pretty weak. That is really weak, Joel. Weak, pathetic, sad. And then when it gets to this thing about all the salaries that this station's paying QM between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., see, the problem being that that's more than your whole payroll. Maybe if you'd pay somebody instead of wasting all the money on those stupid Dolphin games, maybe if you had some talent over there, you'd have an audience, but you don't. That's what he doesn't understand. In other words, if cheap, if lowballing is what it's all about, fine. But by the way, thanks for warning us about not overpaying Bokamper because they weren't going to hire him anyway. Remember that deal? Mm-hmm. When he had the voicemail on Greg's voicemail about, well, this is Joel Feinberg. We just want to let you know we're not interested in hiring Kim Bokamper anyway, so don't overpay him. Click. Idiot. Real idiot. See, he's shadowboxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's shadowboxing. He's competing with himself. He's like dancing in the dark. Remember that song, Dancing in the Dark? That's what he's doing. You're living in La La Land, Joel, and the only reason for that is because, like Ann Richards said, you were born with a silver foot up your ass, or something like that. Is that what she said?
Twice.
Yeah, before she died. He killed her. 803 votes on today's poll, which we'll get to about Condoleezza. Are you picking on poor Condoleezza again?
Absolutely.
Oh, boy. Going to get a lot of people all whipped up about that. They don't cotton to that when you start picking on poor Condoleezza. Dr. Rice. Dr. Rice.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is
Nobody else got your guys.
Sports Radio 560
How can we continue?
QAM.
Sports is for Homo. 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 Sports is for Homo.
Oh, I don't want to step on any of that.
No.
10:17 at 560 WQAM. It's a happy Friday. Today is the first day in a long time. Just dawned on me.
What's that?
I would say it's the first time since June. When you say that I played...
It's Friday, you bastard.
Right?
That's right.
My first Friday.
Sure.
Well, this week has gone by. It seemed like only, 2-3 months for me, anyway. So here's today's poll. Then we'll get into the meat of the matter with Barry Jackass. Hey, nice going, Barry. You're a real good shill, a real good supportive shill over there. He gave them a couple of shots. 831 votes already. The 1,000 we got licked. More people than you would ever dream of have listening, Joel. Which of these best describes Condoleezza Rice? Poor Condoleezza. Incompetent, 195. Sellout, 180. Boy, is she ever. A sellout. Wait a minute. Haven't had a poll in a long time that we can actually have a thing.
I just can't stand that slut.
174 said that. I love that.
I just can't stand that slut. I just can't stand that slut. I just can't stand that slut. I just can't stand that slut.
174 said that. Evil, 92. Bulldyke, 83. Brilliant, 54. I hate this poll, 26, 3.1%. That's a little bit too high. We're not pleased with that. She's gross, 14. With that gap tooth, she is real miss. And Butcher, 13. She sure was a good butcher there in the Middle East. And, of course, a good butcher in Iraq, too. Remember she said, who would have ever believed that, And then she held up that report that said, that was labeled, warnings that Al-Qaeda wanted to hijack planes and fly them into buildings. Remember that in August?
Yeah,
they had that. Yeah. President was too busy clearing brush, though, in Crawford, Texas on the ranch. Okay, so that's the poll so far. We got 839. We'll get that 1,000 easy before you know it. Here's the lineup today, then we'll sink our teeth into Barry Jackass. Mad Dog at Hooters Doral between 2 and 4. Eat your hearts out across the street, okay? They tried hard to get the Mad Dog. Did they get him?
No.
No. And he's worth every penny, whatever the hell they're paying him. 4 to 5, the Power Hour, which, by the way, that was my idea, Barry. In fact, that whole afternoon lineup was my idea a long time ago, and then they finally got around to doing it when they finally discovered a morning show. The Power Hour with the Humper and Mad Dog, 4 to 5, and then Humper solo, 5 to 7. Oh, look at that. Looky, here comes Cookie, because the Marlin game doesn't start till 7:35, and it's in Atlanta. So the pregame, so Hank has to do 2 full hours. How's he going to do that? Wow. I love that crossover hour, by the way, especially since it was my idea. But it's not, every time I hear those clips, man, it sounds great. Sounds like those two are having a great time together.
Good.
It does. Well, you're not listening because it's got to do with sports. You're just anti-sports antic.
Sure.
Marlins on deck at 7. The Marlins at the Braves in Atlanta, 7:35. They better sweep this series this weekend if they want to hang on any chance, because I see San Diego won again last night. Does that mean they're, 3.5?
Yes.
3.5 out of the Marlins for the wild card, the Padres. The Padres. Oh. And then Eddie K after the baseball game tonight. That's our Friday lineup. And then, of course, tomorrow I got the Hurricanes going to get their... I'm hearing Louisville's pretty damn good.
Yet they're ranked better than the Canes.
They are really ass kickers, and they're scoring a ton of points, is what I'm told, too. Like
well, their running back broke his leg, so he's out, though.
Oh, no.
So.
Yeah, just like the quarterback, like Roethlisberger couldn't play against the Dolphins. That sure gave them a chance. They didn't win it, though. They come close. Right?
Right.
So, and by the way, Willis McGahee, is that his name?
Yeah, the Buffalo running back.
Right, but he played for UM.
Of course.
He was the great UM, and then he
busted his leg in the Ohio State game, yeah.
Right, that's correct. See, out of sight, out of mind, you know. And he's the moron that said in the game against the Patriots on Sunday, he said, "Oh, I thought it was 3rd down."
Maybe he forgot to take the math class at UM.
Right. Yeah, well, he's a UM flunky or whatever he was, so what do you expect? That's spelled F-L-U-N-K-Y, flunky, not as opposed to.
Hey, he could play ball, though.
He could run. Give me the ball. Yeah, he's okay. But he thought it was 3rd down, so he didn't make that extra effort. You know, he didn't stretch it, push it, and as a result, the Patriots got the ball back, and we won. Too bad. Okay, so Barry Jackass writes, WQAM 790 bosses trade barbs. This is, you know something, I'm going to frame this. I'm going to get a gold frame, and I'm going to frame it in gold lame. Barry Jackass writes, 2 years after launching the market's second sports radio station. Now, this is the 3rd time, by the way, that they've tried for a second sports station. The first one was 1980 The Fan. That was the one that had more Testes Destrada on it, and Jim Barry and a bunch of other losers. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
How many listeners do they have?
About 30, man.
Then they went under, real fast. Then there was 940 after Cheap Channel decided to destroy that. And first they tried, like, irregular talk, and that didn't work out too well with fractions. And so then they decided to put it on that Fox Sports Radio Network thing, WRFX. I mean, who would want call letters like WINZ? Who would want great call letters like that when you could have WRFX, the Fox? And then they had Stu Gatz on there. And what else did they have on? Anybody we ever heard of before?
You're asking me?
I'm just asking, like, throwing that
out
loud.
Out
loud.
That's
right. Huh? Who else did they have? Carl Foster on the... Carl Foster was on the 4... Oh, that's right. There have been 3 other stations before this one. There was the 1400 one that used to be the light bulb, that station, which is something else now. Remember? And Carl Foster was on there, and Anita Marks, or whatever her name was, Jack Mark, and they also went under, just like RFX. How many listeners do they have, those two put together?
About 30, man.
And now we got 790 The Ticket. And I think they got a lot more than 30 listeners. I'd say maybe 40 or 50. Barry writes, 2 years after launching the market's second sports radio station, 790 The Tickets. And keep in mind, this is being written by a guy who's in the bag over there. He's wrote the front page story about 790 The Ticket, and they're going to kick ass at QAM because the Herald and that station have an incestuous relationship. Anyway, he says 790 The Ticket still faces sizable financial losses and trails WQAM 560 in the ratings. Oh, we would do anything to hurt them. But Joel Feinberg, who owns the company that is leasing 790 Signal, still speaks boldly and brashly. Let me say it again. He owns the company that is leasing 790 Signal. In other words, 790 is still owned by Lincoln Financial, which used to be Jefferson Pilot and Dennis Collins and that bunch of goyim over there. So they don't even have a radio station. They're just renters. That's all. They're leasing the signal. When in doubt, rent it out. For starters, Feinberg dismissed... I want to make clear, this is Joel Feinberg, not my friend Dick Feinberg, who got screwed over at Pompano Park. For starters, Feinberg dismissed rumors his venture might fold. His lease with 790's owner, Lincoln Financial, has 3 years left, followed by 5 one-year options at 790's discretion. I'm sure people have heard WQM's Neil Rogers say, "I'm going out of business in March," Feinberg said. There's no truth to that. I heard WQM General Manager Joe Bell went to his sales staff and told them to start a rumor that 790 is going out of business to scare advertisers. Right. Bell denied that allegation, calling it ridiculous. And he said, "Joel, a man in your position can't afford to be made to look ridiculous." Isn't that what he said?
Something like that.
Yeah. Feinberg, 29. Oh, yeah. A real big shot with Daddy's money. Already has reached one conclusion. He believes the market cannot support two sports stations long term, and insists he ultimately will prevail. Though ratings don't suggest that, says Barry. How do you like that? He suggests that ultimately he will prevail. Even though Barry says the ratings don't suggest that. I'm here for the long haul, he said. WQAM is throwing stupid money after stupid money. They're spending more in salaries from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. than I spend the whole day. Maybe that's why you have no audience, Joel, because you're not paying any talent to be on the air over there. Maybe that's a part of it. And I hate to break the news to you, Joel, but this station, nobody ever lost money on the Neil Rogers show. I've been on the air for 100 years in this market. Nobody ever lost money on this show. And Mad Dog and a Humper, you think they're going to lose money on those two in the afternoon, even though, of course, they got that crossover out? You think they're going to lose money with Jim Mandich and Hank Goldberg on here? No way, Jose. Now, unlike you, which is losing millions on those Dolphin broadcasts every year, and which allegedly already admitted to losing $8 million in about a year and a half, who's making more money, Joel? Who's got the numbers? Who's making some money? But nevertheless, yeah, we're throwing stupid money after stupid money. Then he said, this is my favorite. This is going to take a long time. Good, I could spend 2 hours on this. Excellent. He says, WQAM went from your father's station to your grandfather's station, and here comes this is one of the great lines in the history of morons. People don't want to hear angry 60-year-old men anymore.
Yeah.
That must be why we got those numbers and you don't have any. That must be why we got, like in the last trend in men 25-54, about a 10 share, and you got a 1, because people don't want to hear angry 60-year-old men. People don't give a crap. They don't check the ID. You know, it's one thing to go to a club and they check ID, you know. Mm-hmm. You go to buy cigarettes and they check ID, whatever it is. But when they turn on the radio, nobody cares how old the people are or how much younger and hipper that somebody suggests that they are. They just want to know if they're entertaining, if there's something there that attracts them, if they want to listen to it, if there's something interesting, exciting, something to sink their teeth into.
Right.
You jackass.
Even if they have a bag and checkered pants.
Even if they got a bag and they got like a walker and they got false teeth, who the hell gives a crap about, wait a minute, I got to rinse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, who cares about that? Well, I mean, some people with a bag. But nevertheless. But that they keep trying. It's just sad. It's like Bush running around with his war on terror, you know, and Iraq and the war on terror and all. He keeps trying to peddle it, and everybody says, please, go settle it to somebody else. Go peddle it, right? Like a bicycle. Take it out and peddle it, Joel, because nobody's buying it. People don't want to hear angry 60-year-old men anymore. Won't somebody please buy some spots on my station?
The biggest names, the best talent. This is
You lose, Joel. No matter how you slice it, you lose.
Well, I hate what they're doing on QAM. Putting that faggot back on again. I want what they had before. He's not my kind of guy. What the hell are they doing anyway? It's a manly-sounding guy who's really gay. I want more of Chris Moore, cause the voice is real high. When I listen to the sports, a manly voice won't get my attention. But will really get me stiff in the shorts. A squeaky high voice will give me an erection. Well, I hate what they're doing on QAM. Putting that faggot back on again. I'm going to miss hearing straight men with voices this high. Now I'll have to get deeper in the closet again so I can impress all the macho friends. But check out Chris Moore at night to help me pay the side. Yeah, there ain't nothing like having macho sports guys whose voices hasn't cracked since they were 12 years old. Kind of like that. Yeah, stand up real close to the radio and press it on and get their voices on up there. It really makes my balls tingle. Yeah, that Crow, man. Well, he's smarter than my inbred brother. Yup.
Yeah, but what time is he on? 10:33, 27 before 11 at 560 WQAM. What have I told you for a long, long time? Narrowcasting, man. Narrowcasting. Sports talk. I'm going to say it again. The reason that we've had big numbers on this radio station outside of the show is because Hank Goldberg and Jim Mandich mean something. Their personalities, they're people who everybody in the market knows. They're entertaining, they're amusing, they're interesting, and people want to hear them, although they don't want to hear Hank in the morning. But nevertheless, am I right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That's the only reason we got those numbers, is because of who it is. That's why when they took Mad Dog off and they shoved him deep in the afternoon, between 2 and 4, we might as well shut down for transmitter maintenance.
I don't like
those
guys.
O's and 1s. These clowns. But nevertheless, see, you're trying to tell that to sports nerds, they don't understand it. People who live in their own little world, they think that everybody else... See, that always has bugged me. People who think that the whole world everybody in the world views things the same way that they do.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, if you're obsessed with, like, basketball cards or baseball cards, everybody wants to hear a baseball card show. Remember that with Mr. Ego and his baseball card shows?
Who doesn't?
Well, I bet you we had some big ratings on those days. Anyway, you heard about Catherine Harris's plane?
No, what about it?
Oh, no, I just mentioned that because I'm going to go into that Stu Gus thing. I mean, we can all make mistakes on the air, but this guy is he doesn't belong on the air, okay? That is a good poll. Let's take a poll maybe at the beginning of the week. Don't let me forget.
All right.
People who don't belong on the air. I mean, it's not just somebody like that. Not just radio people don't belong on the air, but there are, like, TV people who
So badly.
don't belong on the air.
But he will stand up for what he did, Rita, and if he did something wrong, then he will face the consequences.
How surprised are you that the U.S. government...
There just can't be anybody in the world with a... She can't speak, okay? I mean, I know it didn't make any difference with Tom Brokaw or Barbara Walla. They both had bad speech defects, but she just can't speak at all.
Maybe they're counting on the train wreck factor. It's got you watching.
Is that what it is? Oh, no,
yeah.
You're right about that. I'm obsessed with it. I came running in here when
it's
I saw her
unbelievable.
as soon as she got onto that Dog the Bounty Hunter thing, because that's the kind of stuff she loves, man. Her and Nancy Grace. Just love that crap. You know, the chick in Aruba, and, of course, Anna Nicole with her 20-year-old kid. Those are the kind of stories they just go freak out about. Anyway, so Joel Feinberg says, getting back to Barry's column, which I won't spend more than 2 or 3 hours on, WQAM went from your father's station to your grandfather's station. People don't want to hear angry 60-year-old men anymore. That's why old Neil, who'll be 64 in November, had an 8 share in men in the last book and about a 10 share in the last trend, Men 25-54. Because people don't want to hear angry 60-year-old men. Well, I'm not 60. I'm older than that. Ancient. WQM can point to the ratings to dispute that, says Barry. In the last ratings period, last book, April through June, in the key demographic group of men ages 25-54, WQM ranked 10th in the market with a 3.5 share, and 790 was 25th with a 1.3. In other words, like almost 3 times. WQM beat 790 in every day part. Ratings haven't been released since QM's Hank Goldberg shifted to afternoons, and Kim Bokamper and former Y100 host Kenny Walker became 560's morning team August 28th. Not to forget about Mad Dog going back where he belongs between 2 and 5. Feinberg concedes he's not happy with where we're at in the ratings. How do you like that? He's not happy with where we're at in the ratings. Is that incredible or what?
Why not?
But I couldn't be happy with our lineup, he said. The audience can't stand it, but he loves it. Oh, my God. Let's hear a lot more of that Stu Gus and Danny LeBastard boy. And they can't even keep those losers on the air. Didn't the Juice fly out of town, O.J. McDuffie? Huh?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, the Juice. So what do they got? Sid the Kid, Rosencrantz, Bergstein, whatever, Stan Bergstein on there at midday? What do they got? We don't even know what the hell they got anymore. Is anybody on that show with him, or is he doing it solo until he leaves town and goes back to New York?
I couldn't answer that question.
Because I'm hearing that he may be driving a cab in New York one of these days soon. That's the latest rumor I'm starting, Joel. Oh, man. Feinberg concedes he's not happy with where we're at in the ratings, but I couldn't be happier with our lineup. He clearly loves tweaking the competition, Barry says. Yeah, tweak this. WQM's morning show is terrible, Feinberg said. You have one guy, Walker, who's been introducing Justin Tinkerbell and all these boy bands, paired up with a jock. They start talking one day about the singer Pink and how Kenny played her song, and he goes on for 10 minutes. And you know what? Thank God, because there are a hell of a lot more people interested in Pink than are in about, who's taking a shower in the Dolphin locker room.
Damn straight.
Then he says, Joe Rose offers people more. He's the Dolphins' analyst. Well, how do you like that? Guess who was the Dolphins' analyst for about 100 years? I'll give you one guess.
All right.
There he is. In fact, even now, when you watch NFL highlight films, as opposed to hearing the play-by-play guy, if you're watching highlights of a Dolphin game when they actually made a good play, you know whose voice you hear in the background all the time?
All right.
Mad Dog. It's correct. I mean, is there any comparison between the two? No. I mean, I like Joe. He's a good guy, and he's a broadcaster. He's the only broadcaster they have on the air, the only sportscaster broadcaster they have on the air. Like I said, Boog's a good guy, but he's a rock and roll sports guy. He's a play-by-play guy. He's not a talk show host. And I mean, there's something I'm relieved to hear about this, because quite frankly, if Kenny and Bo are talking about a lot more than just sports, we might actually have a chance for an audience in there. I don't get to hear much of it, but that's good news, right? Let me ask your objective. What do you care more about, Pink or the Dolphins?
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Don't make me choose.
Okay. And as far as Justin Tinkerbell is concerned, Joel.
Bye.
Yeah. Anyway, it says the ticket, in fact, is running promo saying, what do you want to listen to, Joe Rose or Kenny Walker? Is there really a choice? Oh, thanks for the promotion, by the way. How do you like that? Joe Rose or Kenny Walker? No, there is no choice because I don't want to hear somebody talking the same sports crap. Bop, 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 bop. That's why I played that bit because I haven't played it in a long time. That one. Yeah, same old stuff. Bop, 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 as Rimmer would say. By the way, don't you miss Farrell and or I?
I miss Farrell.
Yeah. Yeah, we miss Farrell a lot. Not you, Rimmer. Go away. Don't call me again.
Even if she does hate me.
Respond to WQM's Joe Bell. Kim Bokamper was an all-pro player, even though, of course, he is ponderous on the air. No, he's all right. He's loosened up a little bit. Jim Mandich was on the unbeaten 72 team. Kenny Walker's the Dolphins stadium announcer, whatever that means. See, the response, Joe, is Kenny Walker is a broadcaster. Forget about whether he's the Dolphins stadium announcer. He's a real broadcaster, okay? Belongs on the air. Not just some dumb jock. Ooh, sorry, Bo. And Hank Goldberg used to announce the games. No, he didn't announce the games. He was on the
he was the colored guy.
Games. Huh?
He was the colored guy.
He's the colored guy with Rick Weaver. Well, yeah, he was on the broadcast, I think is what he meant.
The fans beginning to boo the play selection.
If anyone wants to see how the two stations compare, Bell says, open up an Arbitron book and take a look. Give a cook, that's what he said. Give a cook. What? And Joe's not even Jewish, and he said that. Give a kick. Feinberg acknowledges he's losing money, but he won't say how much. Millions. I guess he forgot his earlier statements about how what a genius he was to be able to lose $8 million of Daddy's money in a year and a half. I'm by no means a worried man, he says. We continue to beat ad revenue projections. You know how many dollars they're taking in this week?
About 30,
$30. It's interesting because some of the sales... Don't we have their former sales manager on our powerful sales team now?
I think we do.
Who is...
I can't keep track anymore,
I think he spilled the beans about how they were crying in their soup about they couldn't sell the Dolphins for love or money. Remember when the Dolphins, Josh, got off to that great start last year?
Well, they usually get off to good starts.
But they didn't get off to a very good start. And then, of course, they did win the last 6 in a row, but by that time, all the money was down the toilet. There's a lot more to this, by the way. I won't spend more than 2-3 hours on it.
The biggest names,
I won't spend more than 5 or 6 hours on it.
Neil Rogers, Sports
Let's
Radio
go over to the Mad Dog
560
show with it.
Tonight on ABC, 9/11, all Clinton's fault. Find out why your brown shirt leaders are accountable for nothing, ever, for anything. We'll show you the towers falling over and over again to minimize the significance of being attacked on our shores. 5 years have gone by, too long ago for most of you to remember. But 9/11 was entirely Bill Clinton's fault. You just remember that, especially with the elections coming up. Democrats bad, Republicans good.
Democrats bad, Republicans good. Democrats bad, Democrats bad, Republicans good.
9/11, all Clinton's fault, or 9/11, the day Bill Clinton blew up the towers and everything in the world. Don't look at them, look at him. Ooh, he's the bad guy. Tonight on ABC, your subservient Mickey Mouse Network.
10:46 at QM. I don't want to spend more than 5-6 hours on this thing. If you tuned in late, Barry Jackass has hit the jackpot today in this morning's Herald. Big article here. WQM and 790 bosses trade barbs. Oh, there's the phone. That must mean your package is downstairs.
Oh, thank God.
Wouldn't that be great?
I was worried.
Anyway, I got a long way to go here. Feinberg acknowledges he's losing money, but won't say how much. I'm by no means a worried man, he says. We continue to beat ad revenue projections. This past spring, the ticket persuaded the Dolphins to give the station a rights fee reduction, which Feinberg won't discuss. So in other words, instead of paying $5 million, they're probably paying like $4 million now, and still going to lose their ass. In exchange, the Dolphins are allowing Big 105.9 to simulcast the games on FM, which cuts into 790's audience. The Dolphins met with WQM last spring, could consider returning the games to 560 in 2007. Wouldn't that be a kick in the ass, Joel?
Rectum.
After you lost all that money? Of course, putting Jimmy Syphilis on there, that was an act of rocket science anyway. And screwing over the Mole Man and the Mad Dog. Anyway, it says it was no coincidence, Barry says, that 790's highest ratings came last fall, its first year airing Dolphins games. And believe you me, that was nothing to write home about. Now, here comes this could be some of the funniest stuff in the history of mankind. He ought to have his own show on there. I have a goal of being the #1 sports radio station in the market, and I won't stop until I get there, Feinberg said. WQM hates my existence. Every day it takes money out of their pocket. They will say anything or do anything to disrupt my business. You mean like those rumors that your people are starting inside your building over there that are disrupting your business? This has been part of his war cry. He's got two basic things: we'll do anything to hurt them, and nobody wants to listen to old men on the radio. That's it. That's it. Not that he's got some great thing over there that anybody would want to hear. So here's what Barry says, and of course, keep in mind, this is Barry Jackass, who the Herald has this incestuous relationship with them over there. So Barry allegedly is giving an objective view here. He says, the view here of 790 after 2 years, the ticket has done a lot right, including offering numerous big-name guests, scheduling Chris Mortensen and wickedly clever comedian Frank Caliendo as regular football season segments on Danny LeBastard Show, and piecing together its best talk show lineup since launch time. Also, Rose has a shot to win the 7 to 10 a.m. race if he can lure some of the hardcore sports fans who might drift from WQAM's morning show. Right. I'll tell you one thing. There's about as much chance of Joe winning the morning against Kenny and Bo as there is of my finding $1 million under my ass right now. Then he goes on to say, Barry, but it's difficult to envision 790 outrating WQM in the foreseeable future, if ever. If ever. And then here comes this next sentence here. Okay? And this being written by a putz who never even acknowledges the fact that I exist. It'll be impossible for the ticket to win during Rogers hours, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and difficult to make inroads against WQAM's formidable afternoon lineup, bolstered by the Goldberg Mandich 4 to 5 p.m. pairing, which was an inspired idea. Whose idea was it, Barry?
Oh, God!
You couch potato jackass, you little piece of turd. Bell declined to respond to several of Feinberg's shots, but offered this zinger. I don't listen to them or focus on them. I focus on our product. Well, it's about time, Joe. Unlike Joel, there is somebody I have to report to other than my daddy. Oh, what a shot that is. Think Joe's taking a little bit of a shot there at Joel Feinberg, and that again proves that we'll do anything to hurt them. Taking a cheap shot like that. Nice going, Joe. We got 948 votes. You know we're going to be close to 1,000 by 10 o'clock. Not that it's a stupid-ass poll, but you know something, Joel? That probably tears his kishkis out. 1,000 votes my ass, because he knows that you could fit their whole... Between midday when this show is on, you could put their whole audience into a phone booth and have room for the Chinese army left over. In fact, when he says, I'm sure people have heard Neil Rogers say I'm going out of business in March, that's because he knows everybody's listening to this show. Everybody who's listening to the radio in this town right now is listening right here, unless they don't speak English. And he knows that. So you might as well sign off between 10 and 2. Shut it down, baby, like the Beach Boys said. Shut it down. Remember that?
They said that?
They sang it. So anyway, here's the bulletin on Stu Gatz. Somebody hands him a press release. Was this yesterday this happened? Well, it's dated September 12th. There you go. Shut it down. Capitol Records, the Bleach Boys. Hey, Brian, put away the teddy bear and wake up. So earlier in the week, I guess somebody must have handed this press release to Stu Gatz while he was on the air. Now, keep in mind, he's the general manager over there because Daddy's got a lot of money. And again, he was on Fox because Daddy's got a lot of money. Now he's the general manager. But he's also on the air with Danny LeBastard Boy in the afternoon, I guess. Isn't it? Isn't that the way it works, Josh?
Yeah.
So Stu Gatz, and when he was on our station, what did I say? Nice guy, doesn't belong on the air to say hello or goodbye. Did I always say that? See, at least I'm consistent. Like Joe Rose, I'm not going to tell you he stinks just because he's over there. He's a great guy. He's good on the air. He's a broadcaster. I like Joe. Good people. And by the way, he hates them like poison. See, and let me just, before I get into the Stu Gatz thing, make one other thing abundantly clear to all these losers over there across the street. The only reason you even had an open door, even a crack in the door, to have any opportunity to compete was because of the series of incredible blunders by Greg Reed over a period of 3 or 4 years. That's the only reason there was any inroad there. I mean, I don't even have time to list all the blunders he made. You know, what with the Mo Howard Davided and then the Stern fiasco and the Pharrell, trying to lose the license for us, all this other stuff. That's the only reason. And it all started when he blew up the first team. That's when it started. And then Joe Rose came back, which I don't know why the hell Joe was foolish enough to do that, but we all make mistakes. And then they lied to him and stabbed him in the back. And that's why he wound up over there. So that's the only reason they had anything at all. And, of course, they haven't seized the opportunity anyway because they stink. So anyway, somebody hands this to Stu Gatz. He's on the air, and it's a press release. In fact, on the top of the press release, it says, another generation of quality foods. And on the bottom, it says their website, www.goldribbonvalley.com. So it's probably a pretty good indication. It's in North Miami. Pretty good indication this isn't a sports press release. Right?
Right.
By the way, you hear about Catherine Harris? So anyway, it says former Dolphins wide receiver Oronde Gadsden signs on with Buffalo. So Stu Gatz goes on to think, oh, can you imagine how desperate the Bills are? They signed Oronde Gadsden. The Bills. They didn't sign with the Bills, you moron, you idiot, you quisling.
You fairy.
Simpleton. What it says is former Dolphins wide receiver Oronde Gadsden, OG, has just signed a deal with Buffalo. To Dolphins' delight, however, it's not with the Bills. Instead, Dolphin favorite, number 86, signed an endorsement deal with food manufacturer Gold Ribbon Valley. endorsing their healthy line of buffalo, bison, knockwurst, brisket, and meat products, which will be sold at Dolphins Stadium starting this Sunday, September 17. See, I'm willing to promote it. That's because we have an audience. They're probably pretty happy about that. Credited with catching the last touchdown ever thrown by Hall of Fame quarterback Dan Marino, Gadsden can now be credited with another great catch, the newest health food craze, bison buffalo meat. Unaware that they had the same legal counsel, Gadsden met Steve Chase, the founder of Gold Ribbon Valley, by a fluke, where OG became hooked on Chase's product and was pleased to accept the endorsement offer. A story in itself, Chase, the grandson of Hebrew National founder Lenny Pines, has the same passion for his bison products as his grandfather had when creating the craze for the first kosher hot dog.
Oi!
Gadsden and Gold Ribbon Valley will be unveiling their new product at Dolphins Stadium this Sunday, September 17th, at the first regular season home game against the Bills. All are in hopes that while the Dolphins are corralling the Bills on the playing field, well, not all, Dolphin fans will be taking a bite out of buffalo at the OG Corral kiosks located in the party zones of the stadium. How do you like that? So right away he jumped to the conclusion, Aronde signed with the Bills. Oh, they're desperate. Yeah. Nice going, Stugotz. And by the way, Catherine Harris's plane is still off Taurus. So that's the way it goes over there. It's very jackasses. I only spent an hour on that, or pretty damn close to it. That's a shame. I got so much other important stuff to talk about today, like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
A lot of people are wondering, here's the Mexican government issuing this. How surprised are you at the U.S. government? Are you?
No, seriously. There's no way that she can be on there. We have to all be in some kind of a collective dream. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're all, between Bush and the Iraq attack and the fact that, in fact, even on our poll, 6.4% of the Neil Rogers audience says Condoleezza is brilliant, okay? Even after all of the things, all the lies and all the BS, and how could anybody have ever dreamed that anybody would hijack planes and fly them into a building? This is the same bitch who held up that folder and during those 9/11 investigation hearings and was asked to read the title of the report and said, Al-Qaeda intent on attacking within the U.S. and using planes to fly into buildings, hijacking planes. And she gets up there and, see, these people think we all have this amnesia or we're in this dream world with Joel Feinberg. And don't forget, Joel will do anything to hurt you guys.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Well, she kissed Al Roker, said goodbye to Ann and Matt. She's at CBS now. Yeah, she's at CBS. Even though she had big ratings, all the critics say the news is a mess now. Yeah, they say it's a mess. They don't like the clothes she wears, but we have to make one thing perfectly clear. Katie Couric don't care, 'cause she's making $15 million a year. All the bloggers on the net are going crazy at their little computers. Yeah, they're HP and Dell, acting like a bunch of drunken sailors out on leave and hanging at Hooters. Well, it's all gone to hell. Well, so far she's left Charlie Gibson and Brian Williams way back in the rear. Katie is kicking butt. She's making $50 million a year. Well, she's asking for America's help to come up with a snappy sign-off. Yeah, she needs a sign-off. That's a dumber idea than when her company hired David Lee Roth. Yeah, I'm glad that he's on. She's been beaten up so bad that the poor lady might need boxing headgear. Katie Couric don't care, 'cause she's making $50 million a year. Well, the media is buzzing. Everyone is whipped up into a lather. Yeah, it's such a sin. And the only one that's happy is that crazy narcissistic Dan Rather. He's got a big goofy grin. All the mean things being said might make a mere mortal break down and shed a tear. Katie Couric don't care, 'cause she's making $50 million a year.
I just can't stand that slut.
Amen. It's 11:01 at 560 WQAM. She's about a half a step away from Rita Cosby territory, and that's saying a lot. She's weak. 979 votes on the poll. Not as weak as Joel's line of voter across the street. So you hear the latest rumors about them, by the way?
No, what?
Oh, brother. 976. Let's get the right number on there. Which of these best describes Condoleezza Rice? I ought to play that original Condoleezza now, you know what?
Do it. Dare you. Double Dog the Bounty Hunter, dare you.
Really? Now, do you think if I played it that Rita Cosby would put it on the air this afternoon?
Somebody would.
Okay, so anyway, 979. Which of these best describes Condoleezza? Oh, and you know something? I can go back to that can't stand that slut again, too. Oh, that's a pain in the ass. Incompetent, 235. A sellout, 212. Is there any doubt about that?
No.
Oh, and then...
I just can't stand that slut.
194. Evil, 104. Bulldyke, 100. Now, come on. I voted for that, though. Bulldyke. You have to be deaf, dumb, and blind not to know that. Brilliant, 64. 6.5% of this audience says she's brilliant. That's the same. Now, at least with our audience, it's not that 33 or 35% like the total American audience out there who continue to kiss up to the Bush crowd, even though, you know, to this neo-fascist garbage and all these lies and all these dead people and bloodshed. 6.5% of this audience thinks she's brilliant. Based on what, I have no idea. Does she come across to you as being brilliant?
Condoleezza?
No. I hate this poll 34, 3.4%, too high. Gross, 17, and a butcher, 16. Well, she works in the butcher shop with you-know-who, don't you? Who?
Article 3 of the Geneva Convention.
There he is. Oh, he's going to be doing a press conference shortly, your president. Think we're going to carry some of that?
No.
No. Although this station is very big on press conferences, but only if they have to do with sports. Let's see. Here's another fax. It says, and why did you waste my time with that previous fax? What was that?
Oh, just for your information.
Oh, please.
Kind of thing.
It's in the circular file. I don't care.
All right.
It says, Stu Gotts can't get fired. He just bought a new BMW, so he needs the money to make his payments. BMW inside scoop. Well, that's fine. The only problem being he's got a rich daddy, see. So it doesn't make any difference whether he gets fired did it or not. Got a rich daddy, just like Joel Feinberg. Bunch of people born with a silver spoon up their ass over there. That's the whole deal. Trying to play radio. See, I'll say it again. I don't want to spend any more time on that because I got too many fish to fry here. We're having a cookout. Maybe we'll get some of that buffalo meat from Rhonda Gadsden before he joins the Bills for Sunday's game. But you can't talk your way into an audience, Joel. You've been trying to do it for about 2 years now. It doesn't work. It isn't going to happen. You can't create it out of fiction. You can't keep talking about how happy you are when you're lined up, and you can't keep BSing the public. They don't want to hear it. They don't want it. It's like trying to sell halava to the Eskimos. They don't like it. They don't want it, okay? And he thinks that bada beep, bada boop, and of course he and Barry probably going to start this contrived controversy now to whip up. And just like the same thing with Greg Kotex. Remember that with that phony poll he was taking online?
Yeah.
On his blog?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you right now, sure we wound up tilting the balance on that because they were trying to do the same thing. So we got the jump on them. We made them look like a bunch of monkeys that they are. When we got that memo, remember that memo from one of their hot shots there at 790?
Mm-hmm.
And we want all the people to make sure they vote on this. Yeah, right, there you go. So they're trying to load it up and phony it up, which they were doing a pretty good job there early on, making it look like they were somewhat competitive. And so then we stuck it to them, baby. Stuck it to them. This business of comparing Danny LaBastard. I've seen him on ESPN. When I was down there last time, I heard some of his pathetic performance. He's weak. Weak. Oh, but he's so much hipper and younger. Yeah, he's younger than Jim Mandich, okay? Does that mean he's a broadcaster?
No.
Does that mean anybody really wants to listen to him?
No.
No. Comparing him with Jim Mandich is such an insult. It's so ridiculous. It's insanity. It's lunacy. It's like comparing Rich Waltz with Mel Allen. It's just foolishness, nonsense. Anyway, moving along. I've said my piece. I just don't want to say too much to hurt those guys. Because we do like Joe, and we like Troy, and we like fat, what's his name? Zach Krantz in your pants. 991. You know something? Next time I refresh that, we're going to be over 1,000. It's just barely after 11 o'clock. Take that and put that in your pipe and smoke it, Joel. Our stupid-ass poll. Anyway, Dwayne Dog Chapman. Now, you just found out about this morning?
Just this morning, as a matter of fact.
What the hell is wrong with you, man?
What
Kind of a, what is your story?
I don't follow Dog as closely as you do.
Really?
The U.S. government for following through on their request.
You're brutal.
No, I'm not brutal. She is.
Yeah?
She is to television what most of the people across the street are to radio. Don't belong on the air. And believe me, we've had plenty of people who don't belong on the air. And talked about it at great length on their show. Lenny Martez, The Crow, of course. Oh, God. When's he going over there? Now, wouldn't that be something? If we get the Dolphin games back next season, and again, that was just in Barry started that rumor about how QM met with the Dolphins, and maybe there's a possibility we'll get them back next year. Certainly not for $5 million, I'll guarantee you that.
How much are they going to pay us?
Right. Especially after they go like 3-13 this season. But who would we have doing the games? Yeah, I don't think it would be him. I know who the color guy would be.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, is there any doubt about that? No. Right?
Right.
I mean, there is no question about that. But as far, and of course, you know what he always says about the Dolphins.
They play like men and they look like women.
Right. But who would do the play-by-play, do you think, Josh? Maybe we can get Zimfer back?
I don't know. They'd have to find somebody.
Certainly not Jimmy Syphilis.
No, God, no.
Oh, my God. No Jimmy Syphilis. Sounds like an old lady with her legs tied together. But at any rate, Dwayne Dog Chapman, the self-proclaimed world's most famous bounty hunter who achieved notoriety. Of course, look, we got Joe Zagacki, so who the hell are we to talk about anybody else, right? I mean, that in itself is such... You know what? It's very similar to the Rita Cosby thing. You think about it and you shake your head and you say, no, this can't be happening. This isn't possible. It's just not possible. Dwayne Dog Chapman, the self-proclaimed world's most famous bounty hunter who achieved notoriety in nabbing thousands of bail jumpers, was arrested yesterday for allegedly jumping bail in Mexico. U.S. Marshals arrested the star of the A&E reality show Dog the Bounty Hunter at his home in Hawaii at the request of the Mexican government. And, of course, there are few worse slime balls in the world than the Mexican government. All the people, and that's why so many slime balls run to Mexico when they want to hide, because the Mexican government virtually never prosecutes anybody. Unless, of course, they happen to be in Tijuana and maybe out on a bender. Like, what was that movie again, Losing It?
That's what it was.
Love
Very
that.
good.
Chapman, John Stockwell was in that, so I couldn't forget it.
Shelley Long. And your favorite.
Oh, and don't forget about Tom Cruise.
Right.
Sorry, Tommy. Chapman was wanted in connection with his highly publicized 2003 capture of Max Factor Cosmetics heir Andrew Luster, who fled to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, after skipping out on $1 million bail. I think he won that trip to Puerto Vallarta on Hollywood Squares, though. Luster was later convicted in absentia on 86 charges involving drugging of 3 women with the date rape drug GHB and raping them. Luster is serving a 124-year sentence. And the dog is the one who went down there and nailed his ass. Authority, and I watched this piece yesterday. Authorities didn't have any idea where Luster was, and he went down there, the bounty hunter, and nailed his ass. Aren't you proud of the dog?
Very much so.
Get him off the air, though. Get him off that A&E, man. Stop. Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? A&E putting that crap on the air and putting that other silly person on. Where I just can't think of what his name is. What's his name?
Chris Angel. Freak
Chris Angel. It would be like me sitting here reading all these articles by Noam Chomsky and then playing drop-ins like that on the show.
Since obviously you have a sick sense of humor, like about that Rita Cosby thing, you have to approach the dog show with the same thing. He chases down scum people, tackles them.
Oh, we got 1,006 votes, Joel. Oh, no. How do you like that line by Barry? They have no chance of ever beating the Neil Rogers show between 10 and 2. None. 0. They'd have to kill me first. Go ahead.
He tackles down scummy people and sprays them in the face with mace, and it's hysterical.
Are you starting rumors about Joel again? Oh, you mean Dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
Oh, so in other words, you watch that show.
I've seen it a couple
you're
times.
Responsible for being on A&E.
That's right.
I wouldn't mind if it was on like once a week, but they have this obsession, just like when they put that throwing up Gotti thing on there, they had it on like 75 times a week.
They put Dog on a lot because it happens to get a rating, a number.
A young rating. They get young punks watching it, punks.
It's hysterical. It's like
Chapman's son, would you listen? If you're that much into Dog, you want to hear about this. You don't even know the story, for Christ's sakes.
What happened to him? Freaking beaners.
Chapman's son, Leland, was also arrested yesterday, as was colleague Tim Chapman, who was unrelated but considered a blood brother by Dog, according to the reality show's website. He's a blood brother.
Yeah, they swap spit.
Marshals knocked on the door of Chapman's home just after 6 a.m. Well, I don't have to read this. We could play that scintillating thing there with his wife carrying on. Where is it?
And I can't believe this is happening again.
That's the dog's wife.
But this really good man, this hero, went and did this for those 3 young women who've been violated so badly. But he will stand up for what he did, Rita, and if he did something wrong, then he will face the consequences.
How surprised are you that the U.S. government? I mean, a lot of people are wondering...
Chapman was cooperative, Bieber said. He was handcuffed and placed in the back of the government vehicle. That's Deputy U.S. Marshal J. Bieber. Chapman's wife, Beth, told MSNBC her husband was being held in the federal detention center in Honolulu. The arrest warrant is under seal. Charges expected to be announced today when Chapman is scheduled to appear before a magistrate's court in Honolulu. Larry Buttrick, chief of the criminal division of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Hawaii, said Chapman was arrested by Mexican authorities in June 2003 on charges of illegal detention and conspiracy. The magistrate will determine whether Chapman can be extradited to Mexico, and the final decision will be made by the U.S. Secretary of State, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Hawaii. The U.S. Secretary of State, not condoms, please. Mexican police said that the 3 men subdued Luster outside a nightclub, put him in an SUV, and drove him off June 18, 2003. Police stopped the vehicle soon afterward and took the men into custody. Chapman and his crew were not authorized to track Luster and take him into custody in Mexico, Mexican officials said at the time, adding that bounty hunting is illegal in Mexico. Well, it ought to be legal. There's sure a lot of slime balls running down there. Judge Jose de Jesus Pineda Jesus, the judge, ordered the 3 men to stand trial on charges of unlawful detention and deprivation of freedom, charges which carry sentences of up to 4 years in prison. Pineda granted the men bail, $1,500 each, but the 3 were supposed to check in regularly with police and get Pineda's permission before traveling outside the Mexican state of Jalisco, a prosecutor said. Jalisco. The men did not. Supervising prosecutor Marco Roberto Suarez said in July 2003, threatening to have the men arrested and returned to Mexico if they missed their scheduled appearance before Pineda. The following month, Superior Court Judge Edward Brody in Ventura County, California, ruled that Chapman wasn't entitled to any of the $1 million in bail money forfeited by Luster when he fled to Mexico. I can't do vigilante justice, Brody said. In my view, you violated state statutes and Mexican statutes, therefore you're not entitled to any restitution. Chapman later said he was proud he had captured Luster, but regretted doing it in the wrong way. Dog the Bounty Hunter, in which Chapman and his family chased down bail jumpers and other fugitives, is one of A&E's most popular series. It's in its 3rd season, and George loves it. And the trailer trash, they all love it too, man.
That's right.
He looks just like Hulk Hogan. He looks like Hulk Hogan.
Trailer trash are the stars.
Especially if the picture's real dark, like the one on our MySpace.com. We got 590-something? 596. 596 friends on that MySpace. That's more people than you got listening, Joel, all day long. Oh, as a matter of fact, you know what I wrote down? I wrote, from the last trend, I wrote down the day parts. I'll do that when we come back.
Okay.
Okay, comparing QAM, men 18 plus, QAM and 790. I mean, who wants to listen to angry 60-year-old men, for Christ's sakes? Like, what's his name, that fat old faggot? Who wants to hear that, Joel?
What'd you say?
14 past 11 at QM. Have you ever felt that the moment you pay for something is the moment a store stops caring? Dial Mattress is at their best after you make the purchase. That's right. Call Dial Mattress at 1-800-MATTRESS. Get factory direct prices lower than the chain stores. Dial Mattress also has 12-month financing for you. What's not to like? Call 1-800-MATTRESS. You'll get the lowest prices on the best brands. Sealy, Serta, King Coil, Simmons, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns, and Foster Hewitt. He can do it. Dial Mattress has got a 99.7% on-time delivery rate, too. All you do is pick the 2-hour window that you want. Pick the date and time, 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., like, say, Wednesday from noon to 2. When it's convenient for you, when you're going to be home, and they show up on time. Even the very same day that you call, for matter. If you call right now, you can be sleeping like a child as soon as tonight. And Dial Mattress delivers, too. Aftercare is one of the major reasons why they're ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction. I've been using them for years, and believe you me, they never let you down. They always bring you fantastic goods and the best prices going. So for the easiest piece of shopping you'll ever do, just sit there on your fat, ugly ass and make that one easy call to Dial a Mattress. 1-800-MATTRESS, 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S because it stands for stupid, Joel.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
It's Friday, you bastard.
I'm happy. I'm excited. I am extraordinary. I am. You know, I just do what I do. I beat me.
Wake up call to celebrity. This is a big F.U. Hold on tight to reality or go down like Tom Cruise. Yes, he's grounded. No more contract. Jumping couches made him seem wet. Guess he'll wonder why his ranting made us think he's high. Please say goodbye. Shut on the door. Someday he'll be totally obscure. 'Cause he's weirder than the public has the stomach for.
No, you know what? I am someone who takes pride in what I do. I want to do it well. I just want to do something well. You know, bussing tables or, you know.
Bye! Yeah, just go away and do it well. And soon. 20 past 10. Here's a guy that we wish would go away. American consul in... Yeah.
Ooh, far.
Just go away and soon, please. Turkey's ruling Islamic-rooted party joined a wave of criticism of the Pope today. You know, the Nazi Pope? Well, there are a lot of Nazis running around the world.
Yeah, there are. It's all the rage.
You know, they keep talking about this neo-fascism, and they're right about that part. They just haven't looked in the mirror yet. Turkey's ruling Islamic-rooted party joined a wave of criticism of El Papa today, accusing him of trying to revive the spirit of the Crusades with remarks he made about the Muslim faith. The spirits of the Crusades, in other words, an offer they couldn't refuse. Maybe that's why they like the mafia so much. Maybe that's why all the mobsters used to go to church and give the big donations, you know, and then they would have a church wedding and a church, all the baptism and church funeral.
They're all in on it together.
Even Lucky Luciano, do you know that he had a church funeral?
I imagine he did.
Even Meyer Lansky didn't get that. Oh, don't start with that Marlansky again. Uh-oh. Muslim leaders elsewhere in the world also expressed dismay, with Pakistan's foreign ministry summoning the Vatican's ambassador to express regret over the remarks, and Parliament passing a resolution condemning the comments. The Pope's words were deeply disturbing for Muslims all over the world. He has caused great hurt and anguish, the ministry said in a statement. The Vatican envoy regretted the hurt caused to Muslims and said that the media totally misconstrued certain historical quotes the Pope used in his lecture. Benedict quoted from a book recounting a conversation between 14th century Byzantine Christian Emperor Manuel Paleologos II, remember him? Manny.
Who?
Manny to his friends. And a Persian scholar on the truths of Christianity and Islam. The emperor comes to speak about the issue of jihad, holy war, the Pope said. He said, I quote, show me just what Muhammad brought that was new, and there you'll find things only evil and inhuman, such as his command to spread by the sword the faith he preached. Benedict did not explicitly agree with the statement nor repudiate it. But, of course, the fact that he quoted it should have said something. Salih Kapazuz, a deputy leader of Turkish Prime Minister, whatever the hell his name is, Erdogan's party, said Benedict's remarks were either the result of pitiful ignorance about Islam and its prophet or a deliberate distortion. Not bad enough that the Danes were making cartoons of Muhammad, but now the Pope is putting words in his puss. The comments raised tensions ahead of his planned visit to Turkey in November, his first pilgrimage to a Muslim country, Il Papa. He has a dark mentality that comes from the darkness of the Middle Ages. He is a poor thing that has not benefited from the spirit of reform in the Christian world, Kapazuz was quoted as saying by the state-owned Anatolia news agency. It looks like an effort to revive the mentality of the Crusades. Benedict, the author of such unfortunate and insolent remarks, is going down in history for his words, he said. He's going down in history in the same category as leaders such as Hitler and Mussolini. How do you like that? The Pope has thrown gasoline onto the fire. Thank God the price of that gas is coming down just before the election. In a world where the risk of a clash between religions is high, said Haluk Koch. Oh, I better not say it any other way. It's K-O-C, Koch. Deputy head of the Republican People's Party, as a small group of protesters left a black wreath in front of the Vatican's embassy in Ankara, Turkey. There was no comma in there, just that's where it is. They left it in Ankara, Turkey. Now, let's see. Here's one that says, I guess you're having issues with the Sun Sentinel again. You missed this gem. Now, what is this in? Yeah, I do have issues on their website. It sucks. I can like open up certain pages. Now, this isn't Sarny. How come you didn't tell me this about missing the crow?
How come I didn't tell you?
Didn't I ask you to like check out what he had in this because I couldn't get past page one
on
there?
Well, it's not Sarny. Look, I punched that into the search.
Well, you didn't punch the right person. Okay, punch Joel.
I didn't say crow.
He says, Warren Cromartie's been getting a lot of messages from baseball fans who missed the popular announcer who was given the big BYE from QAM last month. That's what Fat Tubby Jim Sarney says. Another couch potato. It makes me feel good, Cromartie said. There was a failure to communicate with QAM, but everything's good. I like doing radio. What I really like doing is Baseball Tonight. Whatever the hell that is. What is that, Josh? Baseball Tonight.
That's like NFL Live on SportsCenter. It's Baseball Tonight.
I like that one.
Cromartie's busy with a film documentary about his managing days in Japan that is due out next year.
Go in the locker room and pump.
Yeah. Also, Jimmy Syphilis will host a new and expanded daily Dolphin show on 790 The Ticket beginning Monday. Oh, thank God. Narrowcasting again. Good. I like it. Excellent. That is outstanding. And it's got the whole list here. Yeah, bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-ba. That's great. So, in other words, Sarney's taking a few shots there at us, too, huh? And you know something? Thank God that we don't have to depend on the newspapers for our success. We got little Tommy Jicka there at the Sun Sentinel's got a bug up his ass, so even if we get an 80 share, he won't write about that. Who hates the show like poison because I don't take a lot of stupid calls. I don't take any stupid calls as of yesterday or any time in the foreseeable future next 10 years. How do you like that, Joel? Just because you're such a jerk, I think I'm going to re-up until I croak. I'm going to sign a lifetime contract. How do you like that? How do you like them apples?
Well, that sounds good to me.
Oh, and by the way, what did he say? They got like 3 more years left with an option for year by year. Yeah, right. That's not what I'm hearing. The rumors that are being started inside the building over there are saying that they're right. That's what I'm hearing. Aren't you?
I heard it just now.
And Allison told us a lot of stuff. Well, the dirt that she gave us on over there, wow. She said if there's one person, man, that she don't ever want to hear from again, that's Stu Gatz. She said if she hears his name again, it'll be too soon. Kept calling her. You know something? When people keep calling you and bugging the crap out of you, like somebody we used to have that was calling Joe Rose at home and Hank at home. I don't want to mention any names. Bitching them out. Remember that?
Yeah.
Big deal.
I want to give you an update of what took place just now off the air, because I think it's important you hear this. Howard just called the radio station, Howard David, who I get along with great, I thought. He called me and...
Oh, I already did that. Oh, I can't believe I edited that already. What a good job.
I'll give you an update of what took place
so far
just
ahead of
now
myself,
off
I'm
the air,
scared to
because I
death.
think it's important to hear this.
Yeah.
Howard just called the radio station, who I get along with great, I thought. He called me and saying I was trying to stir it up.
Cool.
My point back to Howard is don't listen. Listen to 101.5. Let me see, what age group? 101.5 for Howard, maybe 102.7. Some easily listening love music, so you could focus on your wife and your family and the grandkids instead of listening and always calling the radio station. He's becoming Howard the caller, like Howard from Boca. Howard from Boca. It's like, it's okay. So anyway, he's listening, so just wanted to get the message out, and don't call my show, too, just for a record. Don't call off the air, because I don't want to talk to you, and I don't want to hear you on the private line. Congratulations, you know the private line number. That's great. But don't call because you're not coming on this show. You've got your 3 hours, 5 to 8, Monday through Friday. You can talk all you want, but you're not coming on this show. And we'll leave it at that. All right? I got nothing against you. You seem like a decent person. And I know you've been taking a big hit on the radio station from everybody else, but it's over. Me and you, done.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Bastard.
The pub smokes dope. The pub smokes dope. God gave him the grass. The pub smokes dope. He likes to smoke it, man. The pub smokes dope. He's a groovy head. The pub smokes dope. The pub smokes dope. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Got his higher masculine, facing higher stack. Punching wrong, get stoned on grass. Jesus freaks our back. Jesus Christ is super hippie, never sharp chunk. Punching wrong, get stoned on road. Priest in church, get drunk. The pub smokes dope. God give him the grass. The pub smokes dope. He likes his fucking ass. The pub smokes dope. He's a groovy head there. The pub smokes dope. The pub smokes dope. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now Jackson Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jill forgot to take a pill, now she's got a daughter. Taking pills is not a joke for a groovy pope. First and choking be a cook of marijuana smoke. The pope smokes dope. God gave him the grass. The pope smokes dope. He likes his fucking ass. The pope smokes dope. He's a groovy head there. The pope smokes dope. The pope smokes dope. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The pope is getting higher. 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 The pope smokes dope. God gave him the grass. The pope smokes dope. He likes his fucking ass. The pope smokes dope. He's a groovy head there. The pope smokes dope. The pope smokes dope. The pope smokes dope. The pope smokes dope. Cha cha cha.
Well, there's a whole bunch more here on the Nazi Pope in just a second, but first, here's a good fact. Just a thought about Dog and his buddies. That's not the Mad Dog, but Dog the Bounty Hunter. That dog. I should probably play What Up, Dog.
That's a good idea.
Maybe the State Department can make a deal that says, give back Dog, and we'll give you back your 14 million illegal aliens who are keeping hostage here in the U.S. of A. Not a bad idea, eh? We'll give them all back. All those beaners.
Right. If they don't release
we
Dog,
don't want
we'll
to do
kill
that
them.
because we like, Bush and all his buddies, they like that cheap labor.
If you've heard me lament...
Yeah, I've heard you lament. In fact, you ought to hear us lament the fact that you're still there. Anyway, here's those numbers, I promised. I forgot about it. You didn't remind me. That's
Hey,
your bad.
don't forget. And also don't forget to set your TiVo.
Well, that's right. I got to record Keith Olbermann because, in fact, I wrote him on the same sheet that Kevin sent the facts on. How do you like that?
Huh.
Wow. Keith Olbermann's repeating his commentary on 9/11 tonight. You should not miss this one, says Kevin. It is better even than the one on Donnie Hermann Goering Rumsfeld. All right. That's Countdown, MSNBC, 8 to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, 8 to 9. Don't miss it. TiVo it. Record it. Squeeze it. Men 18 plus in the last trend. That's May, June, and July. The interesting part of this is, now this gets your little ass involved there. See, even George is going to beat the crap out of you middays. How do you like that, Joel? Beat the snot out of you. You can't compete with George. Even poor little George.
Maybe I should have talked about sports.
Yeah, if George would have talked about sports, then you could probably be on an even keel. But nevertheless. Let's see, morning, 6 to 10 a.m., QAM at 2. This is Men 18 plus. QAM 2.3. Joe Rose, who's the only guy they got on the air, 1.5. So, you know, figure it out. It's like 0.8. It's like 50% more. Middays, 10 to 3, and 10 to 3, not 10 to 2. If you take 10 to 2, we'd have had over a 6 in men. 5.3 for QAM, 1.1 for 790. 1.1, barely making the final tubes in the transmitter glow. 3 to 7, 2.7. And again, that's 3 to 7. That was including one of the hours of the 2 to 4 disaster that we had going. Just like we have to be saddled with in there. 2.7, because this is before the change. And then they got 1.6. That's the big claim to fame. That's the big number. Daniel Bastard and Stu Gotts, who's worried about Orlando Gadsden's playing for the Bills with his sausage. 2.7 for QAM and 790, 1.6. Almost double the way I look at it, wouldn't you say?
Sounds like it.
And nighttime, 7 to midnight, QM at 2.4, which is those Marlins. Well, you know, what can I say? That, of course, is before the Marlins got really hot. So we might be having like a 2.5. And across the street, oh, my God, 7 to midnight, they got a 0.6 in men. 0.6, and he's happy with what they got. Well, I'm glad you are, Joel. And that's good that you're not spending any money for salaries, because why waste it, you know? Why throw bad money after worse? Anyway, getting back to the Pope, I don't want to spend any more time on your buddy over there, because we don't want to do too much to hurt him. See, he's tried every angle. How about the sympathy factor? They'll do anything to hurt us. So childish, man. Nothing worse than adults being childish. He's like 29 going on 15, I guess. Child. But you know, when you got daddy's money. We got 1,078 votes on the Condom Pleaser poll. They're not too keen on her. Now, what? Let's see. 6.3% of our audience says she's brilliant. Oh, yeah. And he's brilliant, too, you know.
I was making the point that...
Is he a rocket scientist or a what?
Bottle rocket.
When he speaks, yeah, kind of like that. Only not as amusing or entertaining as old Chicken Neck. A wave of... This is a little bit more on it, you know. Boy, I sure like now... I got that thing shut off. I don't think I'll ever turn it on again. I mean, it's there if we need it, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. In other words, if somebody important was going to call in on the phone, you know, like Joel, or maybe Barry Jackass. But a lot of stuff on this Pope business. A wave of Muslim outrage swept the globe after Pope Benedict XVI linked Islam with violence, with the Pakistani parliament demanding that he retract the statement. The Pakistani said, if you don't cut the crap, bada bing.
Now, don't call us violent or we'll blow you up.
That's right. In India, the head of the Minorities Commission said the Pope, who is the leader of 1 billion Catholics worldwide, sounded like a medieval crusader. And in Gaza City, a grenade exploded outside a Christian church, although there were no casualties or damage. Yeah, you're going to piss us off? Well, bada bing, we'll show you a thing or two. It's that good old religious love. We love to kill you. Outgoing Hamas Prime Minister Ismail Haniyeh said the head of the Roman Catholic Church should stop attacking Islam. These remarks go against the truth and touch the heart of our faith, Haniyeh told reporters after the main weekly Muslim prayers in a Gaza mosque. The Pope should revise his comments and stop attacking Islam, which is the religion of more than 1.5 billion people in the world, he was saying. The Pope made his comments in a complex speech in the German city of Regensburg on Tuesday, implicitly denouncing connections between Islam and violence, especially with regard to jihad or holy war. Jihad my ass. His official spokesman later said that Benedict respected Islam, but rejected violence motivated by religion. And thank God the Catholic Church has never been involved in that. Oh, man.
That's right.
Woo! You talk about the pot calling the kettle pink.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Fact in the church. Oh!
I wrote my note to the FCC. I told them all about what was bothering me. And when I was done, back in the closet again, to grab a little action with my Christian friends. There ain't nobody here but us Christians. Don't bother knocking at the door at all. We're engaging with men the faggoty way, so don't go bothering us today. We're out as men of God, but inside we're gay. Don't you do what we're doing, just do what we say. Raising forum, McClellan and gambling.
and Don who put the wild in wildness. We're getting it on with Christian neocons that are so undersized that it's almost gone. There ain't nobody here but us Christians in the closet playing Christian ball. We pound the moral ground the hypocritical way when we wag our fingers in your face. We're out as men of God, but inside we're gay. Don't you do what we're doing, just do what we say. Hey, Potter, can you help an old golfer boy? Don't you do what we're doing, just do what we say.
Oh, yeah. That was some line about using violence to try to promote their religion. Thank God the Catholic Church never did that.
That's right.
Thank the Lord. Thank Jesus. Anyway, here's a fax. It says McCarthy is alive and well in the body of George Bush.
Should have an economic punishment.
You're timing.
Oh, man, he is the best. According to the New York Times editorial this morning, it seems that our president wants to have anyone who gives material support to a terrorist group or anyone affiliated with a terrorist group is a threat to this country and should be removed from the judicial system and subjected to a military trial. This definition could include people who unknowingly gave to a charity they didn't know was affiliated to a so-called terror group. This law could be used to arrest legal citizens or residents of the U.S. and put them before a military commission. See today's New York Times editorial for more detailed information. Excuse the errors in the no problem. Thank you so much. We got 1,096 votes, which means next time I click it'll be over 1,100, Joel. How do you like that? Eat your heart out, sweetheart. And like Barry Jackass, I want to make sure I quote it directly. I don't want to put words in Barry's mouth or certainly anything else. It says, it's difficult to envision 790 outrating WQM in the foreseeable future, if ever. And that's underlined. Oh, I underlined it. It'll be impossible. It'll be impossible. Well, for emphasis, man, for emphasis. It'll be impossible for the ticket to win during Rogers hours 10 to 2. Impossible. You ought to be playing Perry Como right now. It's impossible, RCA Records, man.
Oh, what are the odds I have that?
You got it. If you don't, you got Round and Round, you must have It's Impossible. Come on. Can a chicken pee a lot? It's impossible. There it is. I knew you could do it. Oh, yeah. Eat your heart out over there across the street, you jackass. You ain't playing no Perry Como records. We're going to be playing Pink and Perry Como side by each.
Oh, we could too.
Don't step on Perry now. It hurts.
We have means.
Tell the sun to leave the skies just to...
That's what Barry Jackass says, baby. Your chances of winning in midday while I'm on the air on a scale of are minus infinity. You could have got a Chinaman say, and by the way, my parents both lived till past 90. I'm going to be alive till 100. I'm signing a 100-year contract extension. How do you like that? For $5 a year just to piss you off. Because we'll do anything to hurt your ugly ass. And by the way, Joel, Casahois. Okay, that's enough. What I think about the Pope got me all whipped up, you know, picking on that poor German Pope. He's got the lovely red shoes, and you ought to read his diaries. Okay, can I get back to business now? This is serious.
Yeah.
You don't believe me?
Deadly serious.
Well, how can it be serious when I'm looking at this puss?
We believe that...
Every time I turn him on, he's fooming, man. He's fooming about beep, bada boop, but about like that. 6.2% brilliant on Condoleezza on the poll. I don't want to keep reading that whole poll result. Then Jim Sarney will be writing caustic comments. Hey, Sarney, why don't you buy a radio, you jackass? You idiot. Oh, he does have a radio, but he's got one of those crystal sets that's stuck on 760 in Palm Beach. He's got that love affair going with Evan Cohen. I guess we didn't like Evan Cohen very much, huh? Or his brother Marty. Am I right?
I imagine.
Well, we gave him that on-air audition a couple of times, and boy, he sure didn't come back. Now, you don't think that was because of Chicken Neck, do you? That would make me feel real bad.
Here we come, yo. Here we go. Here we come, yo. Here we go.
Evan Cohen here on WQAM. That was my obligatory rap song open to familiarize myself to you, the listening audience, on this, my live audition on the air. Many thanks to Clarence and Grieper for a delightful dinner and date last night. That was a wild grind under the Shaquille O'Neal poster over my headboard. I say Shaquille O'Neal in order to distance myself from those who just say Shaq, in an attempt to establish my own identity. So thanks, fellas. You say I have the gift of gab as opposed to being ungifted in other ways. So let's talk intensive sports now, shall we? It provides nebbish yiddies such as myself an opportunity to feel accomplished in something they never could accomplish in their lives. Even in high school, when I would hide under the bleachers from the bullies and ogle the jocks, sneak into the locker room to inhale yellow laundry. I am glad to be sitting down after last night with Clarence and Grieper. All day I have been walking like William Boyd. We'll be right back back with more broadcast professionalism after these words from Astroglide.
The following program is brought to you by
Oh, man. Yeah, we didn't hear from Evan no more after that. So it's probably Chicken Neck's fault. You bastard. I might have to hold his check back a couple of days. That should get him going. He'll probably get a phone call any second. Let's see. Now, I wonder if your package showed up down there, because my phone rang once and then they gave up.
I hope that's what it was.
Package is down there with that FedEx. If it's not, it's not good.
You going to go get it during the break?
Why do I need it? What am I going to... Oh, that's right. It's got the Dion thing in there. During this next break...
Yeah, well, I'd like to know if that's what it is.
Oh.
The package, that is.
Well, what do you mean by that? In other words, inquiring minds want to know if it ever got
I want to know
here?
if it ever got there, yeah.
Well, be prepared, because it's a 4-minute break.
Okay.
Although it does have 75 units in it.
I got the Condoleezza song all queued up.
Buyers sue Miami Arena to force sale. Decision may impact Marlins Stadium.
Oh, my God.
A dispute over the sale of the Miami Arena may have important implications for Major League Baseball's efforts to build a Marlins baseball stadium in downtown Miami, right by the prestigious Camilla's house. A company owned by developer Scott Silver sued arena owner Glenn Straub Wednesday to force the arena's sale, claiming Straub is trying to back out of his contract to sell the Miami Arena. The spat comes as Major League Baseball eyes property south of the arena for a new stadium and has inked a contract with at least one property owner. Daniel Arias, who owns the Citadel office building in Northwest 5th Street and Northwest 1st Avenue, said he signed a contract in August to sell his roughly 1-acre property to Major League Baseball. Dun, 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 dun. How do you like that? Edie Lackard, a real estate broker who's partnering with Silver in the deal, said they would be willing to use some of the nearly 5-acre land for a stadium or to build a project that complements the ballpark. She said they would do so as long as it would not diminish the development capability of the Miami Arena property. Using portions of the arena land could alleviate concerns expressed by Marlins officials that the downtown property proposed for a ballpark is too small. Too small, man. Too small. Just like the spokesman said about Stu Barnes, he's too small. Straub wouldn't comment on the arena yesterday. Under Arias' contract signed sometime in August, Arias would not name a date. Major League Baseball's got 60 days to make an additional payment or walk away from the deal. Just walk away. Jonathan Mariner, Major League Executive Baseball Vice President, didn't return calls this week for comment. Miami Mayor Manny Diaz, whose son was making those counterfeit bills, also declined comment about the proposed downtown ballpark. The Herald reported last month that Major League Baseball is looking at a collection of parcels between Northwest 7th and Northwest 5th Street, north of Miami Avenue and Metro Rail Line. That sure would be a great place for a ballpark, wouldn't it? Huh?
No.
Downtown Miami?
Sure.
Don't you know everybody wants? And I hear they got a shopping mall that they're going to build there, even bigger than the Eaton Center. And people are buying up all those brickle condos, man, like halava, man, well, they were until the housing bubble started to burst. Uh-oh. See, there he goes again, bursting our bubble. You're so freaking negative. You almost think you hate South Florida. You almost think you don't want to be here any more than you absolutely positively have to.
Philosophy of government.
Yeah, that's my philosophy. 1,102 votes on the poll. I told you. I bet if I refresh that, we got more than that. We can do better than that, as the Sheik would say. 11:03. I told you. Did I tell you?
Yes, you did.
I'm on a roll, baby. Look out, Joel. I'm going to be real dangerous, and I'm on to you, by the way. You're not fooling anybody. I'm on to your ass. I'm on to your whole routine. 11:03. Which of these best describes Condoleezza Rice? Incompetent, 262. Sellout, 243. Can't stand that slut. I guess, is it worth it?
To me, it is. Yeah.
It's a lot of effort to reach over and hit this thing.
I can't stand that slut.
There you go. 218 said that. Evil, 120. Evil Condoleezza. Bulldyke, 113. Oh, boy. 52 ain't never been married, but she's real tight with that Nazi from Canada, though. Brilliant, 69. 6.2%. That number keeps dropping and dropping and dropping, and rightfully so. Brilliant, my ass. In fact, my ass has got a higher IQ than her head. I hate this pool, 41, 3.7%. Well, we hate you, too. Gross, 19, and a butcher, 18. Oh, speaking of butchers.
Got money?
Yeah, I've always every single time, man. Stammers and stumpers, and really very sad. Don't forget, we got the Mad Dog from Hooters Doral this afternoon, and then, of course, the Power Hour. And what was the other line that Barry said? What was that compliment he gave to me without mentioning my name a second time? He doesn't want to overdo it. He said it's difficult to make inroads against QAM's formidable afternoon lineup, bolstered by the Goldberg Mandich 4 to 5 p.m. pairing, which was an inspired idea, Neil.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is Dick Cheney. I like to relax by having Mary Magdalene massage my balls while listening to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
Management of WQAM stands firm
in their misguided commitment to stretch what should be a 5-minute segment of sports into 20 hours a day. To convince ourselves that corporate is never wrong, we went directly to you, the listener.
So, you enjoy the all-sports format on WQAM?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can't afford to buy anything they advertise, but it does let me daydream about men.
How does listening to all-sports radio affect your life?
Well, I can support my favorite teams and athletes.
Even if they wouldn't give you the sweat off their jockstrap?
Sure. I know they care about me and my opinion. At least I pretend I know them personally.
But you don't know any personally.
No, but I can still go, woo-woo, when my team wins, and woo-woo, what a game, what a game.
Does that change your life?
No, but it feels good to do that or something.
What if they lose? Does that change your life?
No.
Do you like men? These are men you idolize. It's men that you watch and talk about and want to wake up next to in the morning.
Does that make me gay?
Yeah. That makes you a homo.
I gotta go, man. My pants are getting tight.
Hey!
I gotta look and see if, by the way, there's no package.
Yeah, Josh told me. I'm depressed about that.
I gotta check Ross' story and see if there's any update here on the Scare America before I do this story.
Okay.
I don't want to be giving no misinformation on the air like Catherine Harris's plane now. You know.
Play some filler music if you want to go.
No, I'm not. What do you mean by that? I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Get that out of here. Jesus. Oh, Bush on terror. They're coming again. Yeah, they're coming to take us away. Ha-ha. Let's see. Bush says capturing bin Laden. All this Bush crap, you know. Enough with the Bush's second choice VP nominee attacks Republicans over big brotherism, gay bashing. That's the story is developing, it says. But does it say anything more here about Scare America? Unless we want to Google it. You want to Google it?
What do you want to Google?
No, okay. Air America. Anyway, here's the latest story. This is from the New York Sun from yesterday. I never even heard of the New York Sun, did you? What the hell is that?
Maybe, I don't know.
It says, Air America faces a cash crunch, its star host says. Air America Radio, the liberal talk show network, is fighting off bankruptcy. The face of the network, Al Franken, told the New York Sun on Wednesday. The comedian and liberal author said the financial situation is dire enough that he hasn't been paid recently. Oh, my God, he's right in there with a crow. How do you like that?
That's where you see some arm problems.
We have a cash flow problem. That's what I know, Mr. Franken told the Sun. No cash has been flowing to me. That's the first inkling I got there was a cash problem. In other words, he stopped getting paid. Mr. Franken, and remember somebody told us that they were paying him $2 million a year?
Someone said that.
Mr. Franken reportedly earns a base salary of about $2 million a year from the radio network. Oh, brother. Woo! The stench of cow manure is off of that check.
I think I deserve every.
He said he has found out he wasn't being paid a week ago and that he had some recent conversations with management over financial problems. I know that they're trying to get it together to weather the storm like we have in the past, he said. Hopefully we will. Financial problems have dogged the startup radio network since its launch in March 2004, since launch time. On September 1, Air America Radio switched its New York flagship station from WLIB on 1190 AM to a station with a much weaker signal, 1600 AM WWRL in New York, 1600 on the far edge of the dial. As a part of that move, the radio network laid off as many as 9 employees. How many did they lay off?
9.
9 employees, a spokeswoman for Air America, Jamie Horn, said. Ms. Horn said in a statement yesterday, no decision has been taken to make any filing of any kind. She said, yeah, we already had that line. Still, the statement left open the possibility that some kind of shake-up or restructuring could occur soon. Both liberal and conservative weblogs reported the network's most recent financial woes yesterday, meaning Wednesday. A liberal weblog, Think Progress, reported the network is expected to file for bankruptcy Friday, meaning today. That's why did you Google it? Are you looking?
Yeah, there's some stories. I'm faxing you one.
Really? What does it say?
Along the lines of what you're already saying.
Oh. Then why are you faxing it to me? Just to waste my paper again? Bastard.
Yes.
You know how many maple trees we have to knock down for all the paper that you guys waste?
Got
one of the network's founders, Carl Ginsberg. I sure hope he's not kin to Allen Ginsberg. I'm sure he's not. Or Arnie Ginsberg. Recently resigned, and former CEO Danny something or other, who is currently a vice chairman of the network, has said he'll leave at the end of the year. Recently, a host of an Air America talk show, actress Janine Garofalo, left the network to pursue other professional opportunities. The move was supported by the network. They said, we'll pack you a sandwich. The weblog of her former show, The Majority Report, now hosted by Sam Sater.
Oi!
Said yesterday that if the network does file for bankruptcy, the radio lineup could continue in the same fashion during a reorganization. In the final analyzation, Air America is not the last word in progressive talk, but only the beginning of a new genre of talk radio. Last year, Air America was involved in a scandal involving a Boys and Girls Club based in Cooper City in the Bronx. What is that? I can't read it.
Oh.
Prompting the right-hand margin again, Yeah. Prompting a probe by the city's Department of Investigation in the office of the State Attorney General Elliot Spitzer. The probe is still underway. That's the next governor of New York, by the way, Elliot Spitzer, and possibly the next president of the U.S. You may laugh now. See, most people never heard of him. I'm telling you, he's great.
Who?
While he was helping launch the radio network, a former director of Air America, Evan Montville Cohen, Cohen, see, this is Marty Cohen, simultaneously served as development director for Gloria Wise and Girls Club. Mr. Cohen told us that he arranged for a transfer of $875,000 from the club to help the startup the radio DOI. I can't do just one.
Sure you can.
Yesterday, a spokesman for the DOI, Emily Jess, said the transfer has not yet occurred. DOI expects Air America to uphold its commitment to repay victims of the scheme. Poor Boys and Girls Club, man. They took $875,000 and they used that to start up Scare America. Nice, very nice. Just what so-called progressives need.
Oops.
See, it's not easy to do.
It's tough. I'll get it.
Right, I done it. No, see, you can't do it. I got a faster thumb. Not bad. Let's have a doy-off. 1,125 votes on the poll. I'm keeping my eye on that because, I'm thinking we can make 1,300 a day, and that would piss off Joel big time. He won't admit it. He would say, there he goes again, doing anything to hurt us. By the way, I certainly hope for your sake that bald-headed Sid Rosensteinberg Krantz, whatever his name is, doesn't hop in the car and take off and go back to New York to drive a cab or something. Because remember those rumors were floating around? A lot of rumors going on, all of them coming from inside that building. That's right. The funny part. And then he blames Joe Bell for telling the salespeople to go out there and start these rumors. First of all, Joe don't have time for such crap. Secondly, he's not that creative. Anyway, liberal and conservative media blogospheres have been rampant this week with reports that fledgling progressive talk radio... See, there's that progressive again. Liberal, it's not a dirty word. Quit sucking up to that right-wing insanity. Liberal. Talk radio network Air America is on the verge of filing for bankruptcy. Reports also speculate on the possibility of a pullout by major investors and a revamped lineup. When in doubt, they're going to pull it out. Wow. Amidst the apparent Air America turmoil, it was revealed that the network has dropped Jerry Springer's Cincinnati-based talk show from its regular lineup to be replaced by Sam Seder. You want to come to a Seder? A little wine?
What are they serving?
Matzah. Stale matzah. However, Springer's show will still be offered by Air America through its syndication arm, whatever that means. Officials at the Springer Cincinnati sales team say almost all their 50-some affiliates are staying with the show, while Springer will be dropped at the New York affiliate in favor of the Sam Seder show. Every day's a Seder. Doesn't have to be Pesach to have a Seder when you're in New York. The New York Post reported that Rob Glazer, the Real Network's founder who invested money in Air America to keep it afloat, has pulled out. Air America also reportedly laid off 6 employees this week. Pundit and former Saturday Night Live writer Al Franken, the network's highest-profile star, told the New York, we know, he hasn't been paid in several weeks on what is reportedly a $2 million a year contract. On his radio show Thursday, Franken professed to no inside knowledge about a possible filing and assured listeners, even if it happened, the program would continue. I'm still flying on United, he said, referring to the airline that had gone through bankruptcy. Wow. He also joked, I'm so confident I went out and bought another sports car. Wow, aren't you excited?
Thrilled.
Let's see. Here's Harry in Hialeah. Says, have you been reading the Arbitron ratings as long as I can remember? Or you have. I was just curious, how many people does 1 point represent? 1 point? Well, it all depends on how many people are listening to that,
That's maybe something you should explain that a lot of people don't understand.
What do you mean?
The listening pool changes throughout the day, and the point is a percentage of those.
Yeah, 2 share in the morning would be a lot more than a 2 share, say, from 7 to midnight.
Right.
It's a share of, out of 100% of whatever is listening. So if there's a zillion people listening, then a 3 or 4 share would be a lot. If there's like 5 people listening, then 3 or 4 share would be like, a foot, an arm, a leg. Also wondering who gets these books. I've never seen one or known anyone who has. The diaries, the Arbitron diaries. Hopefully our friends.
Right.
Do they do it at random, or is there a way to request one? No, you can't request one, Harry. We wish you could. We wish you could request a dozen.
Yeah.
Thanks, Harry. Have a great life. Ask for Joel. Maybe Joel can help you out. They got some diaries. Wow. That's sad. How they continue shadow boxing. They're fighting with an imaginary... we're not interested. You're not in our league, baby. You're not in the same category. You're not in the same category. We're the Sports Talk Monster. If you don't believe me, just take a look at my face. The Sports Talk Monster. Take a look at the Humper's face. Boy, talk about a monster. Take a look at Bokamper. You want to see a monster.
Wow.
And what do they got over there? They got Stu Gatz, and they got a bunch of silly people, and they got poor Joe. And the only reason they got Joe Rose is because Greg Reed made a bad mistake. Joe was kicking ass between 8 and 10. We had a good lead in at that point.
Right.
Let's only hope that Kenny Walker talking about Pink. Now, that's very reassuring. I'm glad to know that somebody who is listening there is well aware of the fact that they're talking about more than just the stupid sports stuff. And obviously, Joel Feinberg is one of those people who really believes, just like Ray Perry, that everybody in the world wants to hear people talking about the same ball game and the same sports garbage over and over and over until it's coming out of your ears, man.
In which each of us are responsible for.
That's right. What is that you're playing?
Oh, I thought it was Pink.
Oh, is that like I would know? Although I think I probably saw Pink before you did, because I think and they started when I was like in Amsterdam. I was seeing their videos.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be about the right time? I'm sure it was.
I don't know if we're
well, where
talking
the hell
about
else
the same
would I see Pink, huh?
person.
Sometimes I see red.
I don't know if we're talking about the same person.
What do you mean?
Pink is a person.
Female with pink hair.
Okay, depending on what day of the week, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay, but she doesn't have a group, Pink?
Groupies.
No, she doesn't sing with like other females, Pink?
She has been known to, but no, she's an individual.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Well, I'm going to listen a lot more to Kenny Walker because he and Bo are going to be talking a lot about Pink.
They'll educate us all.
Tommy Pinkos. Uh-oh, 12:13 already. We better get with it.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Lollipop, little boy.
Last door. That's my very last toy.
Just about break your thumb trying to do that, I'll tell you right now. So anyway, I think what Vince is trying to say here, what we ought to put on, I've got to be careful with this. Watch out.
All right.
He's an ass. Good job.
Very good.
That was a much faster finger. He says, reading one of your bedtime stories, quotes from Condoleezza Rice, leads one to think you missed a term for her on your poll. She's an a-hole. Well, let's get that on there right away, but of course we spell the whole word out on our poll.
Yeah.
Rhymes with hole. You have a good weekend too, Vince. Thank you so much. Good point. She is an A. She's a hole, eh? I think that's what those Canadians were saying about her up there in the...
That's right.
Those Newfies or wherever the hell she was. 1,148 votes. We'll have 1,200 by 1 o'clock. You can depend on it. And then who the hell knows if we can make 1,300 after that on a Friday? I don't know. Let's not get too carried away. Here's somebody who says, I just heard you mention Camilla's house. You should know that the city is moving them far away from downtown near JMH. The city doesn't want the homeless near the rich people moving in. You can see a picture of the new facility at camillas.org, and they're seeking donations as usual. Well, good luck to them. Okay, we raised a lot of money for them, and of course they weren't all that happy about it, so screw them. And it's a good thing they're getting them the hell out of there, you know? Maybe somebody will go to the ball games. That was always one of the real pleasant things about going to the Panther games when they were in the arena, although it certainly was a better ambiance inside than in the Mac Arena. How about those Panthers? Oh! Got hockey starting today, baby. They're breaking camp, breaking bread. Aren't you excited about that?
Breaking wind?
Huh? Breaking each other's ass?
Yet there was at least two Montreal Canadiens in front. The key to the play was Desjardins playing catch and then getting the pass in the middle of the rink from the blue line. And here's the shot.
Here's the shot right here. Eric Desjardins, frog. Anyway, got some bad news from Iraq. We should have started the show with it. I usually do get out of the way, but we had all that Joel stuff to deal with, you know? Joel stuff. We'll do anything to kill them. A suicide truck bomb hit a U.S. Army outpost yesterday in Baghdad, killing 2 American soldiers, leaving 25 wounded. One soldier was killed at the scene of the attack, while the second died of his wounds at a hospital. Besides the soldiers, a string of attacks left more than 20 people dead yesterday across Iraq, according to U.S. and Iraqi officials. Well, 20. That's hardly keeping pace.
Right.
Look at that. A-hole's already got a vote. Well, let's see. September 12th and 13th. 40%. He's hovering right on 40 in the Fox News poll. Well, Fox News, divide by 2 and subtract 6. Fox News, my ass. Bush approval ratings. Yeah. I got news for you. They're pushing it if they say 40%. They're really pushing it. John Young writes in the Waco Tribune Herald, those conspiracy theories, he says. And, of course, this isn't what you think it's going to be. The guy that sent that caustic fax a couple of days ago, not going to be what you think it's going to be, sweetheart.
Okay.
Too bad. He says the nation's foremost 9/11 conspiracy theorist was on Meet the Press Sunday, and we all thought conspiracy theorists get no face time in mainstream media. Well, that helps when you're the vice president of the U.S., eh? That would be Dick Cheney. Next, possibly to Fox News, he's the chief agent behind the belief held by so many, including many in our fighting forces, that we attacked Iraq because it had something to do with 9/11. Months after President Bush said that it wasn't so, a Senate Intelligence Committee report said it again last week. Saddam Hussein not only detested al-Qaeda, but apparently tried to capture Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. Pressed about this by NBC's Tim Russert, Cheney said that he hadn't read the report. That's amazing. Then again, it's not. When I mentioned 9/11 conspiracy theorists, you thought first about people who believed that the U.S. government was behind 9/11 or did nothing to prevent it. These individuals are dismissed as kooks and crazies, but those who send young men and women off to a war based on politically calculated leaps of reasoning get treated with deference and motorcades. Time magazine had a story last week titled, Why the 9/11 Conspiracies Won't Go Away. It wasn't talking about Bush Cheney's explanations for going to war. It was talking about those who believe our government might have brought down the Twin Towers. Time didn't really say why those theories won't go away, but a set of polls helped. Stunningly, a Scripps Howard poll recently found that 36% of Americans, yes, more than 1 in 3, don't believe the established accounts of what happened on 9/11. What else don't they believe? For one, a Time poll found that 54% believe the U.S. role in Iraq is hurting, not helping the war on terrorism, implied at least that many Americans don't equate Iraq and the war on terrorism at all. 53% don't believe that Saddam Hussein had any connection to 9/11. 53%. Well, what's the use?
I don't know.
You know, what am I talking about? They keep telling us, oh, no, they didn't have any connection. They're finally admitting it. They're saying it. 53%. This is in sobering contrast to a Zogby poll that found as many of 85% of U.S. troops in Iraq in February said the U.S. mission is mainly to retaliate for Saddam's role in the 9/11 attacks. 85% of U.S. troops in Iraq in February said that. That's why they think that they're there. 77% of those troops said they believe a major reason for the war was to stop Saddam from protecting al-Qaeda in Iraq. Like our vice president, they haven't read the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee report either. All said it should surprise nobody to see the level orange polling numbers showing distrust in our government. Sunday, Cheney told Russert that the fact that no Americans have been killed on the homeland since 9/11 should give some credence to the notion that maybe somebody did something right. That might be so relative to the homeland, but many Americans would point out that the invasion of Iraq has resulted in almost as many American deaths as happened on 9/11-2001 and made the Middle East far less stable than it was before. 2672, by the way, on deaths, Americans,
but
although getting close to 2,700, but who's counting? This puts a gruesome twist on the throwaway line that we're fighting them over there so we don't have to fight them here. What's happened is that young Americans have died there to justify old men's conspiracy theories. Let's send all the old men over there. What do you say? Except me.
Good plan.
Yeah. I'm too gay to go over and... Pretty tragic. Of course, who the hell wants to hear a bunch of old men on the radio? You know, weren't they saying that like 2 years ago, and now all of us are 2 years older, and we're still kicking their ass. In spite of all of Greg's mistakes and all his machinations and emasculations and stuff, we're still kicking their ass big time, big fat juicy butt. And wait till you see what's going to happen now with the Kenny and Bo show. And now those hours of powers between 2 and 7 in the afternoon.
The biggest names of best
just
talent.
smoke them right out of their holes, baby.
Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Holy Mackinac! This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're listening to the Hockey Authority, Neil God.
Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady. Luck if you've ever been a nice, pretty lady. Luck be a lady tonight.
And he's still alive. How do you like that? And his head shrunk 3 sizes this week. Aren't you excited?
Thrilled.
1,177 votes, and if Miguel really sent that package, it ain't coming here.
No, I sent it. He filled out the paperwork.
Well, whatever you guys did, whatever you guys did, it just, I mean, when you say paperwork, I mean,
I
send those things routinely all the time,
As do
How long
we.
does it take? Huh?
As do we.
Yeah.
I did
And
drop
so
it
how
off.
long does it take to fill that thing out?
I don't know, 5 minutes?
Not even that. Not even. Well, I don't know where you sent it, but it sure ain't coming here.
All
so
right.
I guess I'm going to have to go out and buy the Dion CD. I mean,
No,
if I
no.
had it right now. What?
Don't do that.
Why not? Do you think if that thing is going to show up here?
It might.
No.
Maybe
What
they're
day did you
walking
send
it
us
over.
allegedly Wednesday, and here it is Friday afternoon now? I think you sent it at the dry cleaners or somewhere.
It's possible.
Or at the gas station. I think you stuck it in the wrong slot. Of course, that wouldn't be the first time.
No.
A rebellious Senate committee defied President Bush on Thursday and approved terror-detaining legislation he has vowed to block, deepening Republican conflict over terrorism and national security in the middle of election season. And, of course, he was on there with his press conference this morning, militant and belligerent and hostile, and nobody changed their mind. Republican Senator John Warner of Virginia, normally a Bush supporter, pushed the measure through his Armed Services Committee by a 15-9 vote, with Warner and 3 other GOP lawmakers joining Democrats. The vote set the stage for a showdown on the Senate floor as early as next week. Earlier in the day, Mr. Bush had journeyed to the Capitol to try nailing down support for his own version of legislation. The president's measure would go further than the Senate package in allowing classified evidence to be withheld from defendants in terror trials, using coerced testimony, and protecting U.S. interrogators against prosecution for using methods that violate the Geneva Conventions. I'll resist any bill that doesn't enable this program to go forward with legal clarity, Mr. Bush said. In other words, the hell with the Geneva Convention, and why the hell shouldn't they feel that? They violated every treaty that this government signed in the last 50 years, and, whatever the hell it is, they're going to do it their way. Isn't that the way we do it, the Bush effing way?
That's right. Or else.
Well, look at that. 5 for A-hole already for Condoleezza. Thank you, Vince. She's already got 5 A-holes. Oh, man. Or like Oprah, if you look at her, I think she's mostly A-hole. Or something close to it if you watch that South Park thing. It is close.
Yeah.
Well, she had a talking...
Yeah, be surprised what could talk.
Talking body part. American Airlines today confirmed it's thinking about pulling advertising from ABC and its affiliated properties in order to protest its portrayal in that network's recently aired movie, The Path to 9/11, in that propaganda piece, in that piece of turd. We're still weighing our options, said American Representative Tim Wagner, who confirmed the story first reported September 12 by Adweek Online. Pulling advertising is something that's currently under review. He said, we're currently planning our fall and winter ad schedules. The option is open to pull our local advertising as well. Most local ads runs around major hubs in Dallas, Fort Worth, Chicago, L.A., and Miami. We do a lot of advertising in smaller markets, too, he said. The carrier also said it's considering legal action against the network. ABC representatives could not be reached for comment. The airline spends $25 million annually on broadcast TV ads. Thank God we're not affiliated with ABC, Channel 10. American just spent $80,000 in 2005 and about $125,000 through the first 7 months of this year to place ads on ABC. Those figures don't include local spending or spending on ABC-owned cable properties. The carrier's outlay across all ABC properties owned and affiliated could not be determined, though one source said such spending totals at least $3 million a year. Roger Frizzell. Oh, there's Lefty Frizzell again. Roger Frizzell, Vice President of Corporate Communications and Advertising for American, confirmed that the client is mulling its legal options, but didn't elaborate. The film, in both its first and second parts, appears to suggest that chief hijacker Mohammed Atta was flagged as a security risk at Boston's Logan Airport by American airline personnel. According to the 9/11 Commission report, that incident occurred earlier that morning in Maine, and the airline was U.S. Airways, U.S. Scare. Late Monday, American Airlines released the following statement. The Disney ABC TV program The Path to 9/11, which began airing last night, is inaccurate and irresponsible in its portrayal of the airport check-in events that occurred the morning of September 11, 2001. A factual description of those events can be found in the official government edition of the 9/11 Commission report and supporting documents. This misrepresentation of facts dishonors the memory of innocent American Airlines employees and all those who lost their lives as a result of the tragic events of 9/11. You go, American, although it wouldn't fly. But nevertheless, you go. Right?
Right. Twice.
Here's a good one. In the name of the lager, beer, used in British church ad campaign. You see this?
No.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the lager, and the Holy Ghost. Oh, yeah. No, and yesterday we had that story about that thing that had a thing, and I didn't let Josh do it. The guy saw Jesus' face on a... Yeah. Sorry. Took away your opportunity for glory there yesterday.
I'll cry about it later.
Well, it's very important. It would be one thing if it was just any old scene, but it was...
Right.
Jesus Christ. Face, that's right. Well, guess what? A miraculous image of Jesus Christ in the froth of an almost empty pint of beer is to be used as an ad to encourage more Britons to go to church this Christmas. And there's the picture right there. Did I fax this to you?
Yeah, I put it up.
But they'll have to go back the link to the original article to see the picture of the thing, the glass. You see it? Oh, yeah, there. Look at that. I never really looked at that close. That's Jesus, man. God.
I never did see it.
Well, go on our website. No, you don't have to Google it. Just go on our website.
Good.
And the name of the lager beer, and that's the story. And then when you click on the story, just go back to the link to the original story. And the picture, it says, where will you find them? And then it shows the mug. And first, I didn't see anything. But it's like anything else. If you look at it long enough, you'll see whatever they tell you to see. You know the suggestion? You seeing it?
Right. No, are you kidding? It's still loading over here.
Get out of here. What kind of stinky-ass computer you got there anyway?
You know.
My God.
All right, and the name of the lager beer.
Got it?
It's loading now the story.
Oh, my God. No wonder that damn FedEx didn't get here yet. You guys are slow as molasses. You got it?
Not yet.
You looking at that picture?
Not yet.
The poster, which shows a glass with the words, "Where will you find him?" will spearhead the church's advertising network campaign
this thing's slow.
To boost attendance in the run-up to the Christian festive season. I can't believe you don't have this already. That's not a computer. That's like an embarrassment.
Oh, there it is.
You see it?
I see it.
Now, you see he's got the mustache there and those beady eyes and that big schnoz. He looks like Jimmy Durante with a mustache and a wig. Church's advertising network CAN chairman Francis Goodwin said yesterday he hoped the poster and accompanying radio ads would spark a debate about religion. A discussion page on the online site myspace.com will run in parallel. The message is subtle but simple. Where is God in all the boozing at Christmas, said Goodwin, whose group is made up of Christians of all denominations working the British media and advertising. For many, Christmas is just drinking and partying, like Josh, for example, and God is excluded, yet for many young people, they're interested in finding deeper meaning and exploring faith, not just boozing and partying and getting laid. This poster is a nod to the occasional discoveries of holy images in everyday objects, from the face of Jesus in a frying pan, toast, or fish finger, his Mother Mary on a toasted cheese sandwich, and even Mother Teresa in a sticky bun. Previous CAN campaigns included a poster depicting Jesus as the revolutionary leader Che Guevara, and one suggested Mary was having a bad hair day when she discovered she was pregnant. Isn't that cute?
That's very cute.
A bad hair day. So you're looking at that picture?
I saw it.
What do you say? You see Jesus' mug on that mug?
I saw him. That must prove it. It's the real deal.
Now, the good news is I've just clicked to refresh our poll here. I'm sure. Look at that. Even. What a job. 1,200 votes even on the poll.
Very nice.
1,200 even, Stephen. Which of these best describes Condoleezza Rice, our Secretary of State? You know, I don't know what's sillier, that or listening to, what's her name?
Oh,
you know,
Rita.
What's her name?
Oh, boy.
He will stand up for what he did, Rita, and if he did something wrong, then he will face the consequences.
Rita?
How surprised are you that the U.S. government...
1,200 votes. She's incompetent. Rita and Condoleezza, 288. A sellout, 260. Can't stand that slut, 232. I'm not going to play it again. Evil, 130. Bulldyke, 123. Shame on you. That's disgusting. That was my vote, though. Brilliant, 76, 6.3%. That's, you know something? Those of you, we need to round those people up. 76 people say she's brilliant. I hate this pool, 46, 3.8%. A butcher, 20. Gross, 20. How about a gross butcher? And an a-hole, only 5 so far.
The
long way to go, honey.
The best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Sambu Roy, and like many of you, I had a problem with missing skull. I woke up one morning, scratched my head, and ka-chunk! Half my skull is in my hand.
This is Cy Sperling for the Skull Club for Men. Sambu is like thousands of men with missing skull. Not only is it fatal, it can lower your confidence and self-esteem.
I started losing my skull in my early 20s. I was sick and tired of being called numbskull and half-brain, so I called the Skull Club for Men.
With our non-surgical skull replacement system, we take pieces of skull. Don't ask us where we get them, and use a staple gun to replace the missing cranium.
Now, when I run my fingers through Tom's skull, I don't end up with chunks of brain, and it looks so natural.
Thank you, Skull Club for Men.
So call Skull Club for Men today. And remember, I'm not just the Skull Club president, I'm also a member.
Ooh, wait a second. That's my skull on the floor.
I'm sure you dropped that FedEx in the trash basket. Because it's almost 1 o'clock and he's still, there's still no package down there. I haven't called.
I don't know.
Just not possible.
That Hollywood location, man. I used a different location.
Where's that?
I dropped it in a different
bar. Glucerna, you don't need Glucerna. You don't have diabetes.
No.
Glucerna bar for people, a snack for people with diabetes. Although it does have, let's see, how many carbs? Got about 4 million carbs in it. 25. Way too much. But supposedly slow digesting. That's the deal with this? So your blood sugar only goes soaring up to 400, like very slowly. You know, it takes a couple hours before you pass out. And in addition to which, it tastes like, not as bad as those Atkins bars. Remember those?
Yeah, I'm trying to forget, though.
Oh, brother. Woo!
I mean, they were great.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
I'm being sarcastic.
They don't advertise with us, the Atkins people.
They might, one day.
Yeah, they might someday. Like I said, that was the best damn stuff, you know. And these Glucerna bars, oh, man. And even better than the bars are the shakes. If you drink one of those, you'll have shakes for months. Anyway, did we do the Jesus thing? Oh, yeah. Mary was having a bad hair day. Sorry. Now, see, if I would have had the reason I said the FedEx didn't get here is because if I would have had it, I could have played the Dion. I don't want to talk while I'm eating, while I'm reading the Doug Thompson column. He's writing a column every day now.
Good.
It is good, but it's just, back when he was the editor and publisher of CapitolHillBlue.com, it was like once a week he'd write one of his scathing, bush-tearing columns. They were great. But now that he's hiding out somewhere in the woods and they can't find him, now he's got the cojones to, it's amazing. In fact, there's a good picture of a guy wearing a Bush mask and he's got a glove with like long nails. You know, it's really good. Bush's bullying, erratic behavior spurs more GOP defections, writes Doug Thompson on Capitol Hill Blue. By the way, if you just tuned in, you wonder where the phone calls are, you won't hear anything on this show. They are ponderous, just ponderous. You know, when they get to the point where they're that bad, you know, and I don't want to insult all the callers. We've had a few good callers over the last 75 years. How many would you say?
About 30, man.
That's like one every 2.5 years. It just isn't worth it. It's like going on a fishing expedition, and you keep going out every single day. You know what it would be like?
What would it be like?
It would be like going to the casino, and you try every machine, and none of them even gives you a cherry. In other words, they don't even get anything, you know, and they're all just dead. Kind of like a week ago Wednesday. Oh, my God. See, you know why nobody ever responds to that whole thing about the secrets? You know, you go online, and there are all these people peddling the secrets of the slots, and it's all a bunch of crap.
Sure.
Because only a very select small few number of people are really what's going on in the control rooms in those casinos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that it's one of those deals, if they told you, they'd have to kill you.
Right.
Or we'd have to kill them. Because those babies on the progressive machines are on timers, and believe you me, when they got those babies shut down, see, there you go again with the Beach Boys, for Christ's sake. Shut it down. When they got them shut down, you haven't got a Chinaman's chance in hell. Oh, and in addition to which, don't let me forget, because it is Friday, although I don't want to keep dwelling on it, but I do want to get the accurate thing about that. We got two things going on. We got the Air America, right?
Right.
Which is on Raw Story. See, that Glucerna is already acting up. Oh, man, does that stuff taste like caca? Oh. Caca. Yeah, well, I don't see anything new about Air America. And the number two one, the Herald. The Herald's the one that's been obsessing about that poor guy. What was his name? Howard Smellyburger? Huh?
Howard Hughes.
Let's see. Postal Services Commerce Secretary man drowns in Fort Lauderdale. I don't see anything about that guy. I don't see any update about whether he's going to... And the reason, of course, we want to find out is because, you know, we like him a lot. And if he does get the $250,000, we'd certainly like... You know,
yeah, we want some.
Right, that's right, just our share.
Maybe just some
share.
pizza.
As Republicans continue to distance themselves from the political suicide of George W. Bush's policies and his failed war in Iraq, Doug Thompson says, some are also privately expressing doubts about his mental stability, saying the president's erratic actions show a man increasingly out of control. You see why I love this guy?
Mm-hmm.
He is the best. Even Bush's former Secretary of State, Colin Powell, tells confidants he feels the president has buckled under the pressure of the administration's increasingly unpopular and often contradictory actions. That concern prompted Powell this week to publicly oppose Bush's proposed plan to ignore the guidelines of the Geneva Convention and give the military and Central Intelligence Agency the right to torture suspects in the so-called War on Terror. The world is beginning to doubt the moral basis of our fight against terrorism, Powell said in a letter to Senator John McCain, one of the Republican senators opposing Bush's push for the right to torture. To redefine Common Article 3 would add to those doubts. Furthermore, it would put our own troops at risk. Powell, a career military soldier and former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, knows a hell of a lot more about war than George W. Bush, who evaded service in Vietnam by using his then-Congressman father's connections to land a safe spot in the Texas Air Guard, only to fail to even complete that nominal service. So does McCain, a prisoner of war during the Vietnam conflict. McCain is another Republican who tells aides that he's increasingly disturbed by the president's actions and his behavior, by just interjecting his behavior in that press conference this morning. They said he was belligerent and pugnacious and obnoxious. McCain, congressional sources say, was upset to learn the Bush White House pressured military lawyers who testified against the bill to sign a new letter expressing support. Senator Lindsey Graham, a South Carolina Republican who joined McCain in opposing the president's plan, confirmed the military lawyers were forced to sign the letter. Graham is also a former military lawyer and a colonel in the Air Force Reserve. It's a bridge too far, and it's not necessary, Graham says of Bush's proposals. It'll result in putting us in legal jeopardy and erode our standing in the world community. Other Republicans object to Bush's strong push to pass his plan quickly with little time for consideration or debate. It reminds them of the headlong rush to pass the USA Patriot Act, a bill that stripped away most of the protections of the Constitution and was rushed into law by a post-9/11 shell-shocked Congress. Many who voted for the bill admitted later they hadn't even read the legislation. Graham did take time to read the bill. I fell over when I read it, he said. A growing number of Republicans admit shock at the president's actions. The White House has lost its way on a number of important issues, says Nebraska Republican Senator Chuck Hagel. Bush's Iraq War, Hagel adds, is a replay of Vietnam. Republican Tom Kean Jr., running for Senate in New Jersey, says Bush has been dishonest with the American people about the war in Iraq. Oh, there's that horrible thing coming up again. Like Lucerna Bar. He said Bush has been dishonest with the American people about the war in Iraq. There have been horrendous mistakes made in the war in Iraq, Kane told the Newark Star-Ledger. The president should acknowledge that. He needs to level with the American people. Asked if such a step might bring down the wrath of the president, Kane shrugged his shoulders and added, if it means I'm angering the White House, so be it. You go, Doug Thompson.
Oh!
Nice going. He's down there in his bunker, way underground, probably somewhere in that hill. He's probably in George's house in North Carolina.
Possibly. That would explain what's missing out there.
You probably would harbor a guy like that. You're the kind of anti-American commie bedwetting.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, jock sniffer that would do that. By the way, speaking of jock sniffer, we don't do sports on this show. Except Willis McGahee, he can't count to 4. But other than that, and he went to UM. You can't spell scum without UM. Don't forget that. Oh, don't forget the Hurricanes are going to lose to Louisville this weekend. Wouldn't that be bad? Wouldn't a 1-2 start be just devastating, Josh?
Yeah, we would be cursed down here.
Oh, and wouldn't an 0-2 start be? Oh, now the Bills aren't really all that good, but if Willis McGahee runs for about 180 yards in that game, you never know. And if J.P. Luzman, I think you're a little harsh on him. I mean, he does suck, but not a, huh?
You just said it yourself.
Well, he's not very good. But look at who was the quarterback for the Steelers in that game? Who the hell did they play against?
Charlie Batch.
Who?
Charlie Batch.
Charlie Batch. Oh my God! You got to be kidding me. That is pathetic. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, we can count to 4, Willis. All the way to 4. We got 1,234 votes on the poll. Oh, we'll make that 1,300. And then you know what? There's going to be all kinds of memos across the street. They're going to be having a nervous breakdown. That Neil Rogers is spreading rumors again.
The biggest names.
How much you lose this month, Joel?
This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio.
A lot of red ink blown on that toilet.
It's Scott Burrell. And when I'm up in Boca Chica slapping old women with painted lips around the pool, I listen to the Neil Rogers 1 to 2 hour. I listen to the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
Hey, Burrell.
What?
By the way, son, I've been giving it some thought, see? What do you think of this? I knows that me and you can do much better going 6 to 10 and not at 5. A Gentile and a cranky Jew. I think we might be happy together.
I think you really gone out of your mind. You gotta have your wee-wee bag strapped on too tight. No chance I'll do a show with you. I'd rather die. We'd be crappy together.
Why, I'll have you know that I'm a big Bobby Jew from Brooklyn Heights. I've been rated by everybody but you. You're not my type.
Me and Mo, that would blow. No way that if we had a fight, that you'd survive. Who'd wanna hear a genitile and pushy tight? That's crappy together.
Joy, 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 joy. A show with you and me, for me, is much better 6 than 10, not 5. It's only right that I should get more sleep at night. I think we might be happy together. Happy together.
What now, Davy, man?
No! 402 at 560 WQAM. Happy Friday, September 13. It's our lucky, or 15. What is it? 15.
What?
Well, it's hard to read this on Clarence's schedule, you know. We got Mad Dog at 2 and from the Hooters and Doral. And then the Power Hour with the Humper and Mad Dog, 4 to 5. That's the hour that's really got them all got their panties in a wad, man, over there across the street. Because you know what Barry said?
What?
You know what he said?
What did he say?
He said it'll be impossible for the ticket to win during Rogers hours 10 to 2 and difficult to make inroads against WQM's formidable afternoon lineup bolstered by the Goldberg Mandich 4 to 5 p.m. pairing, which was an inspired idea. That's underlined.
Really?
Why underlined? Oh, always like that Barry, even though he's trying to suck up to them. Nice going. Nice turnaround there, Barry. He knows when to jump ship. Just about when they're 2 feet off the bottom, where you can already see the barnacles on the bottom of the ship. So I had to get some nuts I got in the other room here to get rid of the taste of that awful glucerol bar. Remind me never to buy that crap again. Boy, that stuff is garbage.
Don't forget to set your TiVo either.
What?
Don't forget to set
Keith Olbermann.
Right.
Cashews? Macadamias, cashews, and almonds.
Excellent. I like all them.
Sack. Huh?
Those are all good nuts.
I love nuts. Don't play that beast thing, okay?
I won't.
Good source of fiber, iron, low in sodium, potassium, source of omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids, and a good source of vitamin E, eh? What does that have to do with pink? You know, that's a hell of a line in there, too. Let me get that again. Oh, that is one hell of a line. Well, there's so many great lines in here, you know. I'm sure people have heard Neil Rogers saying going out of business in March. No, maybe June. How the hell do we know if you're going out of business? You know, that's your problem. Always crying. Meh. Grow up and quit being a baby, okay? They'll do anything to hurt us. Like a child, man. Like an overgrown child, like Greg Reed. You know, he and Greg would have made a good combination. 2 overgrown children. Oh, yeah, you have one guy, Walker, who's been introducing Justin Tinkerbell, all those boy bands, paired up with a jock. They start talking one day about the singer Pink. You know something? You know what this tells me?
What?
That he's listening to our station. Of course, who the hell would want to hear their station? They start talking one day about the singer Pink and how Kenny played her song, and he goes on for 10 minutes. I don't care what you say. She's got, like, backup singers with her Pink.
Okay.
I seen Pink before you did her videos when I was in Amsterdam, man. She's got the pink wig and the whole deal. I know Pink.
Okay.
What do you think I am, some square old 64-year-old man almost?
I would never say that to your face or behind your back or on the air.
That's not what I was told.
I know.
Sidney Blumenthal says President Bush's radical presidency is the underlying #1 issue in the midterm elections campaign. His drive to concentrate unaccountable and unchecked power in the executive has depended on one-party Republican control of the Congress. Without a Republican Congress that does the White House bidding, the Bush agenda would never have been enacted and be supported despite its consequences. The interlocking of the radical president and the Congress has frozen the natural checks and balances in the system, as I document in my new book, How Bush Rules, Chronicles of a Radical Regime, says Sidney Blumenthal. Unlike past Congresses that shared the same party of an incumbent president, the Republican Congress during the Bush period has largely abdicated its constitutional obligation to assert its institutional authority. Whether Bush's power will be limited for his remaining 2 years in office, or whether he'll have a clear path for future adventures, is a question to be decided in the midterm elections. See, now you... I don't know. I don't eat on the air?
Oh, that's good reason. Heimlich.
Well, no, it's salty nuts, man.
Right. If you don't get that out of there, you're going to sound like Rita.
Oh, God. Are you starting in with that Rita Cosby crap again?
People are wondering, here's the Mexican government issuing this. How surprised are you at the U.S. government?
Yeah, we're surprised at the U.S. government. Anyway, he goes on to say, congressional Republican leaders have hardly been embarrassed by the exposure of Bush's errors, mistakes, and misleading efforts from the experience. Although this kind of flies in the face of what I just got through reading a minute ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, some of them have been embarrassed, not too many. From the experience of the Bush disinformation campaign used to justify the invasion of Iraq, the congressional Republicans have apparently learned that they must advance disinformation campaigns even more aggressively than before. What the Republicans have to fear is the absence of fear itself. Isn't that a good line? The Republicans fear the absence of fear itself. Now Republicans in charge of the House Intelligence Committee are attempting to buttress the case against Iran, fear-mongering about its potential for developing nuclear weapons, a real enough problem, but one that Republicans are hyping into a war scare through a fresh disinformation campaign, an echo of the earlier one that preceded the war in Iraq. By raising anxiety about Iran's capability, the Republicans hope to tighten public dread that can be exploited for Republican advantage in the elections. The fear factor. Last month, the House Intelligence Committee issued a report according to its chairman, Representative Peter Hoekstra of Michigan, to help increase the American public's understanding of Iran as a threat. Claiming to be authoritative, the frightening report, however, bore the earmarks of a partisan political operation. A single Republican staff member, Frederick Fleitz, former aide to John Bolton, now the hard-right ambassador to the UN, at least for now, wrote the document without any input from or consultation with the Democrats. It painted a dire picture and blamed the usual suspects for complacency and worse. The CIA for inadequately assessing the threat, and the International Atomic Energy Agency for complicity in Iranian deception. By the way, I got to do that article about the IAEA. Just ripped them an ass. Did you see that?
No, but I can't wait to hear it.
Next. It says, in the run-up to the Iraq War, the Bush administration tried unsuccessfully to oust IAEA Director Mohammed al-Baradei for having stated with pinpoint accuracy that Saddam Hussein did not possess weapons of mass destruction, and that Bush's case, moreover, was based on forged documents. This week, the IAEA responded with a counter-report debunking the Republican document as outrageous and dishonest. This is like pre-war Iraq all over again, David Albright, former nuclear inspector and president of the Institute for Science and International Security, was quoted in the Washington Post. The Bush White House needs a Republican Congress to protect and defend it for its radicalism to thrive, and congressional Republicans continue to stifle oversight, instead manipulating national security fears for political advantage. The closer the midterm elections approach, the more desperate the tone. That's what Sidney Blumenthal said. And you know what I say?
What do you say?
Time for a little more Fresca.
Fresca.
You don't like Fresca?
I like it fine. We had this discussion. I didn't think they made it anymore. I haven't seen it.
No, it kind of like took a hiatus for a while.
It did.
It went into hiding, and now they brought it back, and they've got like different variations of it. Although it all tastes the same to me, which I like it a lot. But like it says, this one is cherry citrus, and it's got a picture of cherries and a little grapefruit on the cover.
Aww.
Sans sucre, sugar-free. Don't have any crap in it. I like Fresca. So I alternate that with my caffeine-free diet Pepsi, okay? Anyway, the UN Nuclear Watchdog Agency, the IAEA, has written a scathing letter to a congressional committee saying part of its case against Iran is outrageous and dishonest. I think I just said that. The report came a day before an Iranian opposition figure accused Iran of using lasers to enrich uranium in its bid to develop a nuclear weapon. Tehran has repeatedly said that its nuclear program is solely for energy production. The IAEA wrote the leadership of the House Intelligence Committee on Wednesday, lambasting it for claiming that the Islamic Republic is currently enriching uranium to weapons grade. Iran is far from that capability, the IAEA said. It was a nut, piece of a cashew, man. Representative Mike... I could just do that till 2 o'clock. I get a bigger number than you're ever going to get over there, Joel. How do you like that? In fact, I could choke to death here on the air and get an 80 share. I might just do it. You think?
Do it. Hey.
Representative Mike Rogers, no relation, a Michigan Republican who sits on the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, which prepared the report, said the subcommittee's assertion is very clear. It says that we don't believe they've gotten there, but the point of that whole section is they're trying to enrich uranium to weapons grade, he said. The subcommittee's report also insinuates that the IAEA may be in cahoots with Tehran in covering up Iran's nuclear ambitions. The report alleges that an IAEA inspector might have been removed at Iran's request for not adhering to an unstated IAEA policy barring IAEA officials from telling the whole truth about the Iranian nuclear program. That's IAEA. The IAEA shot back that the claim was outrageous and a dishonest suggestion, but Rogers stood by it yesterday. The Iranians said take them off the program, and they said, okay, you can't have Iran getting to pick who's their inspectors, Rogers said. The IAEA has been down this road before when it ended the fray over Iraq's weapons program before the 2003 U.S. invasion. During that tussle, the Bush administration criticized the agency for being too cautious and opposed the reappointment of agency chief Mohammed al-Baradei. They just don't like people that tell the truth. They hate it. Remember Scott Ritter and how they trashed him and slashed him and the whole deal? Anybody, it's the old smear and schmear, baby. And by the way, speaking of that, Kerry says he's prepared to kick some swift boat ass. Are you impressed?
No.
No. Not really. You impressed by John Kerry?
No.
You know, every time we take one of those polls, man, boy, we got 1,262 votes. We'll make the 1,300 easy, Joel. You lose. I heard that he must have bet $4 million with Daddy that we'd never get to 1,300 on a Friday. And we're going to make it easy. We got 1,262, and we got 48 minutes to go, but who's counting, right?
Right.
And the reason that's of concern to them is that, for example, at night when they got a 0.6 or 0.7, whatever it is, what is it? I don't want to misquote. Then, he's starting, Neil Rogers starting rumors again. 0.6. A 0.6 share. As a matter of fact, I think during the Panther season we had some numbers like that at night, remember?
Right.
A lot of numbers that start with at night. I remember the day when people actually listened to AM radio at night, back when I was on. Remember those days?
Sure do.
No, you don't.
I remember you talking about them. I remember you talking about them.
WINZ with that horrible signal in Broward that I couldn't hear on the way home. But not no more, baby. Not no more. Pretty sad. Too many people talking about the same caca, you know. I mean, once you know the score, what else is there to say? You know, they played a great game. They stunk. A girl named Annabelle pitched no-hitter. That's it. What else is there to say? You know, it's like even the greatest steak, you can only chew it so many times, you know?
Can you? What if
and
you have
eventually you have to swallow? 2 more U.S. soldiers killed and at least 30 more injured in Iraq. Is this Iraq or is this looks to me like Afghanistan? Where is this?
Major General James Thurman slips in. He's the commander of the 4th Infantry Division, here to comfort and console his men.
He's going to be okay. He's going to be fine, sir.
In this war, it's a question. Is he or she going to be okay? That has been asked nearly 23,000 times. The answers have not always...
Well, that's in Iraq, but I thought everything was under control there. That guy sounded awfully...
Yay.
Hey, isn't it time you took the stress and worry out of last-minute hurricane preparations? And by the way, right now, this date on the calendar, we're right in midstream, right at the peak of hurricane season. Well, the Hurricane Shutter Outlet manufactures easy-to-use accordion shutters, and now they provide expert installation for you, too. Call them at 954-237-7083. They feature roll-downs, accordions, and panels. Just let our friends at the Hurricane Shutter Outlet custom make, even install the shutters for you. Call 954-237-7083 right now and get on your way to top-notch protection. Don't take a chance. The Hurricane Shutter Outlet, family-owned and operated, licensed, insured, in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County approved as well. They stock all sizes of clear polycarbonate hurricane panels and aluminum panels cut to your specs and ready for pickup or delivery. And like I said, if you need, they'll even install them for you, too. The public and all contractors welcome. Major credit cards accepted, too. And if you mention my name, if you have the big balls to tell them that Neil told you to call or sent you by, you get $100 off a minimum order of 350 square feet. It's the Hurricane Shutter Outlet. Call 954-237-7083 or log on their website to hurricaneshutteroutlet.com.
The biggest names of best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
You bastard.
Sooner or later, the Sunni's gonna get you. Sooner or later, the Sunni's gonna get you. Sooner or later, the Sunni's gonna get you. The Sunni's gonna get you. In the war you'll never win. Resistance is what you'll find when you commit genocide with the blueprint of Nazi occupation. Iraqis try to defend their home against us instead of the Saudis that will serve retaliation. Sooner or later, the Sunni's gonna get you. The Sunni's gonna get you. In the war you'll never win. You leave no child behind by sending them off to die in a war that's insane and homicidal. One symptom of genocide is that the people you find with nothing to lose get suicidal. Jesus Pushka, Jesus Pushka, Jesus Pushka, Jesus Pushka. Sooner or later, the Sunni's gonna get you. The Sunni's gonna get you. In the war you'll never win. You'll never win. We're killing thousands a day. Partisans go away.
Did a bad thing during the break, by the way. Hit some more nuts.
Oh, no.
Well, probably not a good idea.
You're going to be gagging on them.
39 minutes to go, and I'm like, like that. And probably Joel Feinberg is saying, you see, that's what happens when you put these old farts on the air.
That's right.
Hear them doing the death rattle on the air. Like that. The death rattle. The crocky. Did you ever do a crocky?
Not lately.
Yeah, you have. 1,280 votes on the poll, man. We got 1,300 licked. Don't even have to talk about it. How do you like that? That's what happens when you have a big, vast audience out there, Joel. Because we got what, 4 million people listening for each vote that we got on there? Is that what we figured out? 10 million people? For each vote that we get on the poll every day. Because only one person in every 700 blocks can vote, thanks to things like AOL. Boy. Do we hate AOL or what? And how'd you like that disturbing news about Google yesterday?
That was very disturbing.
I mean, I'm not going to stop using Google because I love it, but it's just, oh, they're anxious to work with the Republicans and they're starting their own political action committee. Yeah, not great. Everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon. John Kerry, though, he ain't ready. You know where he's going to have breakfast tomorrow? Waffle House.
Okay.
Same place he has breakfast every day at the Waffle House. Because you know that drug-induced wife of his, she sure ain't cooking. Even though she's got 57 varieties of drugs. Seriously, if you look back at some of those, like on the night that he got the nomination, and they show them at the DNC and they're standing on the stage, she's just in La La Land, man. She's out of it. She kind of looks like that kid in Montreal, although he had better hair. Senator John Kerry doesn't believe that Hillary Clinton's got the inside track, thank God, on the 2008 Democratic presidential nomination, and says he would vigorously defend himself against new attacks by the Swift Boat team, according to an interview with The Examiner. I'm prepared to kick their ass from one end of America to the other, said Kerry. How do you like that? He's talking ass, in a strong hint that he intends to run for president once again. Oh, boy. Now, who would you rather see, Hillary or John Kerry?
Oh, jeez.
In other words, electric chair or guillotine?
Yeah, exactly. How do you want to die?
How about some gas? How about lethal injection? No, seriously, who would you think, Hillary, or who do you think has a chance to? Well, we know he did win last time.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Until they fixed Ohio. I don't think on a nationwide election, I don't think she could be elected dog catcher.
No, even if they fixed it.
Well, they don't know how to do that. In response to why talk of Senator Clinton being the favorite for the Democrats in 2008, Kerry says, I don't buy it. I don't care what the dominant conventional wisdom is today. It will not be the dominant conventional wisdom in a year. Kerry says the only reason he didn't compete in more states in 2004 was that he ran out of money. He says this was also the reason he didn't adequately respond to a series of devastating TV ads by Swift Boat Veterans for Truth, a right-wing group that questioned Kerry's service in Vietnam and criticized his later opposition to the war. I'm prepared to kick their ass from one end of America to the other. He says, I'm so confident in my abilities to address that and to demolish it and to even turn it into a positive, he said. Yeah, you know, it's really amazing about these Democratic candidates. After they lose, you know what I'm saying? After they lose, then all of a sudden they get religion, so to speak. Then all of a sudden they butch up, they start screaming and yelling.
How dare they drag the good name of the United States of America through the mud of Saddam Hussein's torture prison.
After he wimped his way through a lame-ass campaign after 8 years of unprecedented prosperity, and managed to wind up having the election stolen in 2000 and still didn't even bother to contest it. And even further than that, he slapped the Black Caucus in the face. And now all of a sudden he butches up. Next something? Kerry's tough talk triggers laughter from John O'Neill, a fellow Vietnam veteran who helped found Swift Boat Veterans for Truth and wrote a blistering 2004 book on Kerry called Unfit for Command. Well, he's got 8 times as much time to prepare for us as he spent in Vietnam, says O'Neill, referring to Kerry's short tour of duty, which would be how many times more than George Bush spent in Vietnam? Oh, infinity, wouldn't it? Because you can't multiply nothing times something, because it still comes out nothing. Speaking of nothing, Sean Penn. You know, he's another one of these guys. He reminds me of George Clooney, although he's a better actor, but he reminds me of George Clooney.
He's a good actor.
No, but I'm saying... Because a lot of things that he says are, I agree with him. But he's kind of like the what's the little shrimpy guy, Bill Maher.
Okay.
Yeah, a little wimpy, nebbishy guy. And a lot of things most of the things that he says I agree with, but I still can't stand him. He's such a little wimp. He's such a namby-pamby. So anyway, Sean Penn leaves authorities fuming, says the Toronto Star. Says they could become the most expensive cigarettes that Sean Penn ever smoked. The Butts Hollywood bad boy sparked at the Toronto International Film Festival in apparent defiance of the new Smoke-Free Ontario Act have authorities fuming. Little play on words there. Penn faces a $305 ticket, not that the multimillionaire actor and former husband of Madonna can't afford it. Toronto's Public Health Unit is investigating the widely... Uh-oh, there's a line missing here. There's a line missing in the story. But how the hell do I do that? Yeah, he was smoking during a press conference. Ontario's health promotion minister suggested he won't be disappointed if Penn's pocket is pinched during his trip to promote All the King's Men, in which he portrays a legendary Louisiana governor. No one is above the law, whether it's Sean Penn or someone at the local tavern, Jim Watson said he's in charge of implementing the new smoke-free law. That's cigarettes, by the way, we're talking about.
Right.
Anything else is okay. I certainly hope the Toronto International Film Festival would remind in not so subtle fashion that guests coming here shouldn't simply go out and snub their noses at our law. Penn openly smoked through 2 separate news conferences at the Sutton Place on Sunday afternoon without any comment from moderator Henry Behar or co-stars Kate Winslet, Mark Ruffalo, and Patricia Clarkson. Is that Ruffalo as in Buffalo or Ruffalo as in Bufo Toad? Film Festival spokesman Danny Alexander said the organization makes every effort to remind guests of the law, but added the moderator should have told Penn smoking is not allowed. He knew it wasn't allowed because he had the ashtray on the floor. He had like a dish on the floor under the table, and he kept flicking his ashes in the dish. He was flicking his bick in the dish. He knew damn well he was breaking law. You law-breaking slimeball, you. Now, I read the review on All the King's Men.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, don't buy all the criticism in Canada, eh? That was the headline on one of the reviews. Well, some of the people have seen it ahead of time. It looked pretty interesting, the previews, You don't think?
Well, let me talk with the mic on. It looked interesting.
Oh.
I'm hopping over here myself, too.
Now, who's in it? Sean Penn and who else? Kate Winslet.
Okay.
Ugh.
They're showing the previews a lot.
Well, how come Leo's not in it?
Maybe they want people to watch it this time.
28 past 1. And you know something? Thankfully, I think he's kind of like vanished into the woodwork. Have you noticed that?
No.
Yeah, haven't seen. You're not smoking something, are you? Didn't it sound like he was just exhaling?
I am exhaling.
George is smoking a big fat one, folks. Wait till Joel hears about that. He'll be running across the street to take pictures.
Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Howard David's a bitch.
1,303 votes on the poll. I just mentioned that in passing.
Oh!
1,303, Joel.
Oh!
More than you got listening.
Looks like the Quaker Oats guy. Smells from the body roll mold. Barbara Bush has body bells and eyes full of her ice popped out. It happened when she realized she raised more criminal clouds. Barbara Bush has body bells and eyes. And she's nasty, old and crafty, and she raised more fights than Nazis. She's atrocious and takes umbrage to anyone who says they want no voice. Walks like she's carrying a bowling ball between her thighs and has 40,000 eyes. She doesn't need to score. As if she's always surprised. She'd wiggle when she scores. Barbara Bush has Marty Feldman eyes. She gave us George Bush and Jeb Bush, not to mention Bill and Robin Bush. He'll be rich and fat and smells just like the magic sauce on a Big Mac. Barbara Bush resembles Ernest Borgnine on a bad day with Marty Feldman eyes.
Boy, sure haven't played that in a long time, you know what?
Too long.
1:35, 25 till 2. We got the Mad Dog coming at 2 o'clock from the Hooters and Doral. Then the Power Hour. Time to take a good shower with the Humper and the Mad Dog. And then Hank between 5 and 7 solo. Then a Marlin pregame at 7 o'clock. Marlins at the Braves in Atlanta. Big series this weekend, baby. They need to sweep. Wouldn't you say they need to sweep?
Yeah, that would be nice.
And then Eddie K after the baseball game. And Eddie K, who certainly doesn't have a .6 at night like some guys I know. Like cross the street. Now, I like this story only because you're probably going to say, well, what do you like about that? I'll tell you why.
Why?
Students are sent home for violating school dress code. This is in the Detroit Free Press. Detroit.
Sorry.
See, there you go again. You got too many old people on here, man.
Who wants to hear that?
Too many old people with that death rattle doing the Rocky routine. Ben Lewandowski says he was only trying to be patriotic when he wore a homemade T-shirt featuring an American flag bumper sticker and the words "Remember 9/11" to Lincoln Park High School on Monday of this week. After all, it was 9/11, 5 years after the terrorist attacks. The 17-year-old Lincoln Park resident put the shirt on Monday morning and headed to school, where he was quickly sent to the orifice and suspended for 3 days for violating the school's dress code. So you want to know why I like this?
Why do you like this?
Because I think what's good for the goose is good for the gander. In other words, any students that wear like a protest T-shirt, this has been going on for years now, during the Bush years. Anybody that wears a shirt that the neo-fascists don't like, they get sent home and they get suspended. And now somebody that's like trying to be patriotic, same thing.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Amen. You said it. I like that promo where he and Kenny are going to go ready to go to blows, so to speak. That's good. Would you like to see that? All Bokamper's got to do is sit on him.
Just
I've
look
never
at
seen
him.
Kenny. Huh?
Just look at him.
Yeah. Crumble right to the floor. He was one of at least 7 students sent home for wearing shirts featuring patriotic images and messages. It comes less than a week after 3 siblings were suspended for wearing shirts emblazoned with the First Amendment despite warnings, and a week after more than 200 students were sent home on the first day of school for violating the district's dress code, which bans apparel with writing or pictures. Isn't that kind of silly? I mean, the whole thing is silly and obnoxious, but like I said, what's good for the goose, isn't that what the Baumeister said?
He could say it again if you wanted.
No. For Lewandowski, who was sent home on the first day of school for wearing a shirt with writing on it, Monday's incident was his second offense. Uh-oh. Careful, Ben. I think they're anti-Semitic. I was frustrated, said the junior, whose desire to become a firefighter was fueled after the 9/11 attacks. It just made me so mad that I can't be patriotic. Lincoln Park School Superintendent Randall Kite, that's with a T, said the high school held a moment of silence Monday to give students an outlet to show their patriotism. He said some students asked last... what was a moment of silence have to do with showing your patriotism? Huh?
Oh, you know.
No, I don't know. Otherwise I wouldn't have asked the question.
You're supposed to pray.
Oh. And that makes you patriotic, that you bow your head for a second, otherwise they're going to slap you up the side of the head? He said some students had asked last week whether they could wear shirts to commemorate the day, and they were told no. We don't think it would be appropriate because of the dress code to wear T-shirts with writing, he said Tuesday. According to the dress code, students are allowed to wear school-sanctioned clothing such as T-shirts bearing the school's mascot or clothing that supports school organizations. This, according to the ACLU of Michigan, may violate students' rights, especially because it allows students to wear clothing that encourages school spirit but bans other forms of expression, like maybe Budweiser shirts, which promotes other kinds of spirits. ACLU officials have said that they plan to look into the constitutionality of the dress code. Kite said the district had lawyers review the policy before it was enacted. Members of the district school board have said the dress code is lenient compared with other districts such as Detroit and Pontiac, which have banned jeans and T-shirts completely. That would really piss me off. Wouldn't that piss you off?
A little bit.
I mean, I don't want to go to no high school where there aren't guys with T-shirts, unless they don't have anything. Southfield School District in Southfield, I used to live there. Oh, boy. Not exciting? Telegraph in 12 Mile. What a place. Southfield School District implemented a dress code last year, similar to those enacted in Detroit and Pontiac this year. Southfield School's Deputy Superintendent Ken Cyber said Tuesday the district didn't have any problems Monday with students violating the policy to wear patriotic garb. Still, some Lincoln Park parents say they feel the district has gone too far. Kay Belcour's granddaughter, 14-year-old Carly Belcour, was sent home Monday from Lincoln Park for wearing a T-shirt with patriotic messages on it. I think it's a little ridiculous under the circumstances, Kay Belcour said. I think if they wore T-shirts that say they impeached Bush, it can't be more patriotic than that. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kelly Galley agrees her 3 children, 13-year-old twins Monique and Jason Massa and 11-year-old Jamie Massa, were suspended last week for protesting the dress code by wearing T-shirts with the First Amendment on them. Jamie had stayed home. See what I'm saying?
What are you
Jamie
saying?
had stayed home from Lincoln Park Middle School on Tuesday, but Monique and Jason wore the shirts again, their 3rd offense, and were suspended again, this time for 5 days.
Oh!
One more offense, and they'll be expelled. Galley said it's likely she's going to end up homeschooling. How do you like it? It's one thing to do homestooling, but it's another thing to do homeschooling. Don't you always feel much more comfortable doing although not in your case. You seem to do the magic number in that place every morning or so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
That Dreamfield pasta, baby.
I beg your pardon?
That Dreamfield pasta, it's got that
it
high
keeps you real
fiber
regular.
content.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
They go right through you. Now, be careful there. I thought I heard something right there at the ass end of that. 1,316 votes. My God. They must be sitting shivvy across the street.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
What up? This is K-Fed, Kevin Federline for Save the Penny Foundation. Pennies are dope. Check it out. It's got Abraham Lincoln, the father of our country, in the front. And on the back, it's got, what is that? Oh, it's the E Pluribus Unum building. Some people want to get rid of the penny. They say it's all worthless and sits around the house all day doing nothing. What's wrong with that? I save all my pennies in the jar. You never know when the gravy train is going to sink. Anyway, let me kick a stupid fresh rhyme about it. Yo, they call me K-Fed. I've been doing some thinking. Best not diss my boy Abe Lincoln. Each one of them is $100. Yo, save the penny. Holla!
Oh, yeah, K-Fed, I've been doing some thinking, and you really be stinking. He is pathetic in every respect. At least he's consistent, you know what?
Yep.
He can't sing.
And
he's not funny. He looks like crap, but he sure knows how to make some babies, though. Consumers Nation, you know, I'm really pissed off about that Joel Feinberg thing and that Barry Jackass. You want to know why I wasted all of that time? And now I'm not going to get to, like, even close to really any of the stuff I want. Like the Dubai princes accused of masterminding trade in jockey slaves used in the popular desert sport of camel racing.
Those
camel
monkeys?
jockeys. I beg your pardon?
Those monkeys we were talking about?
Yeah, human monkeys.
Oh.
Don't start that again, man. You'll wind up just like Howard Cosell and then George Allen, too, with that macaca. Consumers nationwide should not eat fresh bagged spinach, say health officials probing a multi-state outbreak of E. coli that killed at least one person and made dozens of others sick. Don't eat no bagged spinach, baby, unless you want it in the bag, in the sack. FDA and state officials don't know the cause of the outbreak, although raw packaged spinach appears likely. We're advising people not to eat it, said Dr. David Atchison of the FDA Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition. 8 states were reporting a total of 50 cases of E. coli. The death occurred in Wisconsin, where 20 people reported ill, 11 of them in Milwaukee. The outbreak has sickened others, 8 of them seriously, in Connecticut, Idaho, Indiana, Michigan, New Mexico, Oregon, and Utah. California state health officials that are investigating a possible case there. The outbreak has affected a mix of ages, but most of the cases have involved women. Further information on the person who died wasn't available. Got it?
Got it.
Packaged spinach. When in doubt, toss it out. Of course, you don't like it anyway.
No,
I love spinach.
I don't mind raw
spinach.
spinach.
Huh?
Raw spinach is all right, like a spinach salad.
Israel yesterday released details of its report on the killing of 4 UN peacekeepers and an Israeli airstrike in Lebanon, saying their position close to a Hezbollah rocket launch site was erroneously targeted because of flawed Israeli military maps. We're back to that again, you know. Got the bad maps. Major Payeda Hess von Krudner of Kingston, Ontario, a 20-year veteran, was one of the peacekeepers killed in the attack. This is in the Toronto Star, so they take a special exception to when the Canadians get killed. Israeli Foreign Minister's spokesman Mark Regev, who belongs buried in the Negev, said the findings were handed to diplomats from Canada, China, Finland, and Austria, each of which had a peacekeeper killed in the July 25th strike on the UN post at Qiyam, southern Lebanon, about 180 meters from a position manned by Hezbollah, which at the time was firing salvos of rockets into Israel, where they killed 39 civilians. The findings of the inquiry are that at the time, which, see, again, there's a line missing here. What's going on with these articles, huh? It says that they claim that there was intense Hezbollah activity and brought a need to duplicate maps and charts. In that process, unfortunately, the UN post wasn't accurately mapped, Regev said. When our aircraft launched its ordnance and believed it was targeting Hezbollah, this was a mistake. It shouldn't have happened. Yeah, it was a mistake, and somebody got hurt. We admitted it was regrettable and it was tragic, Israel's ambassador to Canada, Alan Baker, said from Ottawa, shortly after the report was released. Bad maps. Remember the days you used to be able to go to a gas station and get a map?
Right.
Can you still do that?
You can go to the visitor center.
No, I'm serious. You can go to any gas station and they give you a free map of the state or whatever.
Used to be. They sell them there now. You know, they're convenience
They sell them there. Well, isn't that a bunch of crap?
Yeah.
Sell them my ass.
Just go to the visitor center near the state border and along the highway.
UN Secretary General Kofi Annan had said that the attack on the observation post in the Lebanese town Qiyam was apparently deliberate. Remember that? He was PO'd. UN officials have said that before the airstrike, UN observers in Lebanon telephoned the Israeli military 10 times in 6 hours to ask it to please stop shelling near their position. You're killing us, baby.
I'm dying over here.
Eventually they did for them. Remember that like it was just yesterday. But then again, you know, poor little Israel. There you guys go again. Now, what does this fact say? President Bush wants Congress to permit what he calls alternative... Oh, this is a poll in Sun Sentinel. Alternative interrogation practices, and what critics call abuse, possibly even torture, for terror suspects held by the CIA. Your opinion? This is the Sun Sentinel, too, the usual liberal Broward County crowd. 46.6% say Bush is wrong, America should not abuse or torture prisoners no matter who they are, and 48.8% say Bush is right. Strong measures are needed to combat terrorism and detect future attacks. 4.6% say, I'm not sure. How do you like that? In commie pinko liberal Broward, more 49% say, oh yeah, torture them, do whatever it takes. See, this is part of this whole fear campaign, man. Just scare the laws away. As the dictator, not just the dictator of the U.S., he wants to be the dictator of the whole universe. Not just the Earth, the universe. That's why we have to take control of space, too, you understand. And who better to take control of space than a real space cadet?
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The Middle Eastern world will be exploded. Saddam had people killed with the gas that we sold him. First-time aggressor nation and the only one that's going. Now more blood will be spilled to get that oil flowing. Forget about Korea and the nukes they're toting. And the right wing is drilling it over and over into our heads that Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. 3,000 people killed are now forgotten. Let's exploit them instead. Hey, there's oil to be gotten. Going after Saddam to placate Osama. There's no longer mention of the name Bin Laden, but no one seems concerned. All comfy and complacent, believing every word of this cartel administration that controls us by fear through media manipulation. And the right wing is drilling it over and over into our heads that Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. The loss of civil rights is the price that we're paying. We're all suspects now, Nazi Ashcroft is saying. I have nothing to hide, table talkers all are saying. Blind obedient cattle don't have any reservation. Without unprovoked battle and world annihilation. Old regimes must fall and Halliburton installed with no objection at all. Democrats don't have the balls and the right wing is drilling it over and over into our brainwashed heads. Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. I'm dying over here. Only Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. Bye, bye, bye.